He didn't shoot me. I'm gonna keep running. Jeff, why'd you stop? Why'd you stop? And I'm just kept running. And Jeff's like, you kept running. I go, I felt he didn't shoot me. I kept running. Jeff's like, I thought he shot me, so I stopped. So he stopped and got busted. I kept running.
All right, we are back, huh? We're back at the 9 Club, everybody. Today, we have a very special guest. Mr. Ron Allen is with us. How are you?
I'm alive and well.
Still breathing. We are still breathing.
Yes, sir.
Still up in this piece. and loving it.
First of all, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Ooh,
Definitely.
Kelly.
For making the
Yeah.
drive.
Tell Kelly,
Hey,
baby.
thank you. Hey, we talked forever, but I want to. The fact that you just drove down here straight from Oakland
Yeah.
to come on the show.
That's how
This
you get-
morning, you left at 6.
That's how you get OG status.
Oh, gee, I know.
That's how you get G status.
You're the
Straight
man,
up.
dude.
Get the OG
But you know what?
Say that.
It's funny because like we think about it now, like, oh, he drove down a bit. You're probably so used to that, though. I mean, you grew up there, and then coming back to LA, back and
Yes.
forth, but
Yeah.
even further down south than LA.
Oh my gosh. I mean, we used to go come here because it'd be raining so much up there. We're like, let's go find the sun in LA.
Right.
Let's go find the sun in LA.
That's
you
what
know
you
what
do.
I mean? And we come down here like, we stay in a Motel 6 just so we could be in the sun. Because you'd be like, I remember one time up in the Bay, it was 100 days from January 1st with rain. So
Damn,
from
dude.
January 1st, 100 days. And I was like, I didn't know what cabin fever was. But I was like, I'm kind of freaking out being in the house this long, man. Like, I've never been in the house this long. And it's like, it's cabin fever, Ron.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go out then.
So I mean, driving down, but it's not a big deal for you, probably, right? I mean, you're so used to it. I mean,
Well, I gotta be honest, man.
Okay.
I gotta be honest.
Go ahead.
I'm riding dirty, kid, so I came down dirty, like, yeah! Looking out for cops! Looking out for people! I was like, oh, I gotta go down. I'm gonna do the 9 Club. I can't flake on Kelly. And then, like, it was like, oh, man, they're taking too long to get my tags. And I'm like, I could sit here and wait for tags, or I could go.
oh, but you're good, but the tags are
Yeah,
off.
but you know
Okay.
I'm black, and it's a California, and, like, you gotta take a chance, but you're like, I'll go. I don't care.
We're getting this
You
done.
made it here safe, and we're hyped that you're here.
Yeah, that's right. Now I may not make it home, so niggas at home, remember APP. You don't see me. But yeah, like that's to me is skateboarding. You just you make it happen.
you go for it.
Make it happen, man. And like I think I think about that as myself. I'm an example of people making it happen.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And like my friends and skate moms. Oh my God! Like I had 3 skate moms.
Who?
I had my mom, skate
Yep,
mom.
yep.
My best friend Scott O'Bradish's mom was a skate mom, and then my friend Mike's mom was my skate mom.
So these 3 moms would drive you everywhere.
Just taught us how to drive cars, took us to skate, fixed our wounds, laughed at us when we fell down. You know what I mean? They helped us.
Yeah.
And like we got so used to it, we were like, man, I want to make a skateboard company called Skate Mom.
Skate moms.
But it ain't about MILFs. It ain't about that.
Yeah.
No,
That's where the mind goes
yeah,
right away.
it goes right there. It's not. We're keeping it PG, and we're like going, moms, man. Like most of us, our moms, our parents were our first sponsors.
For sure.
Oh,
When,
yeah.
when I would teach, I would always tell kids, I'd be like, your first sponsors are your parents.
Yeah.
And they'd be looking at me like, what are you talking about, Mom? They want you to pick up garbage. They want you to clean up your room, do all that stuff. You get something, right?
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
so your first sponsors are your parents.
Yeah.
And then the way you treat your parents is how you're going to treat your sponsors.
Yeah.
So when you go, like when the little girl goes, Mom, you get my jacket. It's like, no, I want you to ride for me, man. Because that means you're going to come in the office. I need my money.
That's so.
Wow, very
You
true.
should be-
Wait a minute. Why aren't you paying these people?
you better, because I remember that was the world. It's like, you better pay him or he's going to show up at your house. And what you going to want? Money. Like,
Well, you're no stranger to running companies, and we'll get into all that too. But like you grew up in Visalia, right?
the Visa. They call it the Spanish-speaking people call it the Visa.
the Visa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Visalia, great place to have a kid. That's what my parents did.
Yeah.
A lot of skateboarders out of Visalia. Tom Knox, the Paez brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Nanda Zip, Karma Tashiv. Something in that water,
All
boy.
out of Visalia.
All out of Visalia, dude. Like Brent Fellows, Jeff Clint.
Okay.
Was it like right next to Fresno, right?
Yeah, like 45 minutes outside of Fresno.
Did you guys go back and forth a bunch back then?
No, Visalia had enough.
Oh,
Visalia
okay.
had so much. Like
What did they have?
They built a vert ramp for the vert riders. Like right there, they had the first skate camps with this guy Bobby G.
I remember that.
They had all kinds of stuff like that. that. They were all into it.
This is mid 80s.
Yeah, this is like, it's funny. I was teaching cheerleading, and my friend Bob came in and said, "You think you could teach skateboarding?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "We're going to have a skate camp." I'm like, "Let's go. I got some friends." And he goes, "Yeah, we're going to have a skate camp." So I remember Jim Thiebaud, Karen Zapata, and Don Fisher, and we all met in Reedley at the first skate camp. And Karen Zapata was the smartest. She was like, "This is stupid. I'm out," and left. And so it's just me, Fish, and Jim. And we were like, "We're campers." And you have to wake the campers up, put them to bed at night, take them to it was like, wait a second, hold on. And we were making nothing. You were just making food and a place to sleep.
This is Visalia Skate Camp.
Visalia Skate Camp. And then it became Visalia Skate Camp.
Right. So that was the beginning stages.
That was the beginning stages.
Wow.
Yes. And we were like, we were in Reedley, and it was 110 degrees, and the kids couldn't skate because it was so hot. Just two kids had a racket where they grabbed they called McDonald's and got McDonald's to make burgers and then put them in the trash can. The kids were taking the stuff out to the trash can, selling it to kids in the camp.
What?
It was wild. It was
slanging burgers.
Slanging burgers out of McD's.
Yeah.
It was crazy because McD's, if you order a bunch of McDonald's and they don't throw it, they don't throw it away. But they throw it away and they put it in its thing and throw it out in the back. And these kids figured it out, jumped over there, taking out the trash, and were coming back with garbage bags full of McDonald's stuff, and then had a racket where got 2 burgers, $5, and I was like, oh my.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Skaters are resilient. That's why.
You already know.
I'm telling you, man. You got to be that way. I was always whenever we get a hotel, I'd always stay at a place that had breakfast. Because skaters get a chance to eat. And then it was always between 9 and 10. And
Are you waking up that early?
Well, I always say, wake up, get your food, and go back to sleep.
There you go. Okay.
Straight up.
Get your belly filled. But no, this is Visalia early mid 80s, right? Is that when you start skating?
I started skating. My first board I got in 1974.
74.
Yeah. I was all of 12, 11. My mom said, "You got your first board when you're 11. That's the last time I saw you."
What was it? What board was it?
Well, okay. There was Logan Erskies, which were these wood boards.
Okay.
And then my friend Pete, he would sneak into the carpenter wood shop next door, cut shapes, and then put a wedge tail and then put a clap on it, and then wait 24 hours and then come back and give it. So he made me my first board, which was a homemade board from him.
A homemade board with a tail.
With a tail wedge.
Tail wedge.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was like, whoa, dude.
And what were you doing with this thing back then? Did you know what the hell it was?
No.
Were there other people that were riding around?
Well, there was a guy
zone?
named Pat Peaks who I lived on the street. They put the blacks in the back of the neighborhood. And so I was in this back of this neighborhood, and this dude, Pat Peaks, he was riding, we had gutters that went down like this.
Okay.
And he was at the top of the gutter, going down, coming up, going down, coming up.
He was surfing.
And I was looking out the window, and my parents were like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "That looks so fun." And my parents were like, "Well, why don't you go out and ask him?" So I went out and I was like, "Hey, man, what is that?" And he goes, "It's a skateboard." And I was like, "Can I see it?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I got on it, and I was like, "Dude, this is so fun." And he's like, "You can have it. I got to leave. I'm leaving tomorrow, so you can have it." So he gave me that first board, and then I was riding the curbs and stuff, and I fell one time, and I hurt my hip. I didn't really know that skateboarding could hurt you. I went up and blapped my hip, and was limping back to the house, and my parents were like, "Whoa, skateboarding hurt you?" And I was like, "Yeah." It's that toy's hard.
That toy is hard.
It was a toy,
right? Yeah.
And then, there was never any kind of wow, we're gonna do this in the future. There was a kid named Bubsy, Bubsy and Arthur McCorkindale, and they lived down the street from me, and Bubsy had a board, and then the 4 of us didn't have boards, so we would go with Bubsy with one board. And then we built a ramp, which was a piece of plywood onto a fence, and we put Sims across it. S-I-M-S, Sims. And one guy would go, do a kick turn, come back, jump off, then another guy would go, kick turn, come back, and we shared a board. And on Friday, Rochambeau, and then to see who'd bring the board home for the weekend. And I Rochambeau'd and lost, like the show, I lost and lost. So then I came home, and my mom's like, "We'll get you one," feeling, because I was like, I never get a board on the weekend,
I keep throwing rock, man. They keep throwing paper.
Rock and paper covers, so I got a board, And I remember in Christmas, I was like, that's a skateboard. I could tell under the Christmas tree, because it was parents, they were trying to be.
Well, was that the Logan Earthski that we were talking about?
Well, no, the one of the Christmas tree was a California California Super Surfer.
Okay.
With Cadillac wheels.
I mean, because these were all based on like surfing.
Yes.
and,
Skateboarding and surfing were so connected at that point that it was like you were what do they call that? You were on catch a wave in your sidewalk surfing with me.
Yeah,
Like,
that's Beach Boys.
Beach Boys, Jan and Dean. I was like, yeah, I'm like, bright colors, OP, Hobie.
Oh shit!
That was the lineup.
That was it. Like, and you were hyped. You were just like, oh my God, those Hobies, man. Like, and then like Bearflex trucks, the Bear bots. Oh my God.
But that's later, right? That's
That's 80s.
Yeah,
So
for
all
sure,
during
for
that
sure.
period of time, it was me, my friend Scott Obradovich, our friend Mike Steffen, and then Scott got a Datsun B210. And life with the little station wagon.
Okay.
And Mike's dad this is so crazy. Mike's dad was a Frito-Lay truck driver. Okay? So when you got a dad that's a Frito-Lay truck driver, you got access to like peanut butter bars, Tostitos, burritos, all that stuff. But we'd have to follow his dad from Visalia to the base of the Grapevine. So we'd be in the Datsun, dad in the truck.
Okay.
Get to the base of the Grapevine. Obviously, the truck couldn't follow us, so we'd motor up to L.A. And then that's how our parents would let us go. And so,
he was your chauffeur,
a little
kind
like
of.
our
He was a.
but he's in the truck smoking weed, having beers. He's not even tripping. And we're like, we got a bag of Tostitos. We're in the back chilling out.
That's amazing.
And so that was like our world. Like, it's like we would go to LA and we would always stay at like there were these people at P and Tony's, and that was Scott's like family's friend. And I was like Scott's mom and Mary P and the P and Tony's mom were like really good friends. So we'd go stay with them. And we were just broke skaters, so we would stay in this like over the garage apartment where we got no food, we got no money. Wow, we found some chili. Let's throw this in. We made this like crazy chili that we used to eat. We kind of because everyone was broke, and so we would skate Big O. We would just go to Big O all the time, and then sometimes we'd go to Whittier so we could watch Lucero.
What year is this? I'm going to be asking that a lot.
What year? I want
What
to say like 82, 83.
That was 82, 83.
83. Like we would go to Whittier, but like Dwayne Peters was our like. We loved, like my friend Scott, and this is a funny thing, my friend Scott loved Dwayne Peters so much that he looked like Dwayne Peters.
Yeah.
So we would go and hang out with Dwayne, like, we'd be at Big O, like, yeah, Dwayne. And Dwayne would, like, he was crazy, dude. Like, these two dudes came and were like, where's Dwayne? And they're like, he's at the pool. And they came over, and Dwayne skating the pool. Next thing you know, he flies out of the pool on top of them, and he's, like, fighting them. They're like, Dwayne, you're gnarly, dude. And like, we're just kids, dude. We're just him. Like, Dwayne Peters is the gnarliest human being I've ever met in my life. And then one day he's like, you guys want to go up? We're going to go up the mountains. We're going to play guns. And we're like, guns? Like, pow, pow, pow? He's like, yeah. We're like, oh, well, we can't because we got to be here. You know, we can't leave. You know, he's like, man, you guys should just come, man. I was like, oh, man, DP, you're so dope, dude. He was like he was so cool to us. Like, he was like, everyone else, he would be like mean to, but to us, he was like, come here, little kids. I'm like you guys. Like, oh my God, Dwayne Peters and Steve Olson and Bob Serafin and all that. That was the Big O crew. That was where we were like, that was our whole little world.
But let me ask you a question. This is 82-ish, right? You're up in Visalia. All you're getting is magazines at this point, right?
Yes.
So you're seeing all this stuff and you just want to go there. How do you know where all these spots are?
We have no clue. We have no clue.
How do you know where Big O is?
That's the P and Tony's live close, and they told us about it.
Or like word of mouth.
There was a college of Sequoias, and it's a junior college, and they have an L-shaped pool, and it was empty once a year in Visalia. And so me and my friends would go and jump the fence and skate the pool. So one year, our friend Marty Euler came, and I think he had brought like Lonnie Toft or some pro, and they were like, so you guys, like when you drop in, you try to grind the top over the spit ledge. And we're like, yeah. And they're like, you can just grind the first part. And we're like, oh, that's pussy. And they're like, what? And they're like, Pete, he's done like 5. And then like Ron's done like 3. And like Scott and Mike, they've done like 2. And he goes, what do you mean, like grinds and come back over? And like, yeah, grind over the spit gutter, grind the top of the pool, and then come back in, because that's what we saw in the mag. Yeah. And that's what the mag said. You grind the top of the pool. You don't grind the little spit gutter. That was easy.
Yeah. Trying to emulate.
Yeah. And they were like, you guys don't have to do that. And we're like, the other part's easy. We got those.
But wait a minute. So are you getting noticed early?
No. We're just stupid skaters who have no idea.
But are people noticing, like, these kids got something going on?
They're like,
here.
you guys are crazy.
Right.
Like we were lucky enough. There was Tulare in the little town of Tulare, we found a 17-foot diving pool that they were fixing. So you climb down the ladder and then slide in, and then you're in there all day, back and forth. And it was like the four of us, and that really changed. That summer changed my skating because you could go as high as you could go, and you never got to the top. So then when you'd go leave there, everything was small. Like ramps were smaller. Like everything that you skated after that was smaller. So that's what
that's an advantage.
Yeah,
for sure. You did just okay. That's
17-foot deep pool, and it was like no one did anything. No, it's kick turn, frontside kick turn, backside kick turn. That's about it.
Then you feel comfortable in an 11-foot pool.
Totally.
You're like, hey, this is easy.
Yeah, because like the 17-foot pool, even getting in was kind of scary. You'd have to climb down the bottom of the ladder. There was no water, and then you got to let go.
Yeah.
And if you wrong, you like one of the dudes fell back to the ground. Like,
There were other people skating this pool also, or was it just you guys?
We all went in the Dotson Beach U10, like 4 of us went out to it.
But were there other skaters there? No.
Nobody even knew about that stuff. No, me and Jeff Clint went to the College of Sequoia's pool once and got chased out by cops, and we were running. And the cop, this is so old school, cop said, boom, shot his gun in the air.
No,
boom,
no way.
Boom, back in the day. And I'm running like this, feeling myself. He didn't shoot me. I'm going to keep running. Jeff, why'd you stop? Why'd you stop? And I'm just kept running. And Jeff's like, you kept running. I go, I felt he didn't shoot me. I kept running. Jeff's like, I thought he shot me, so I stopped. So he stopped and got busted. I kept running.
Jeez, dude.
But that was a little town. We were skateboarders. We were never liked. We were like the punk rock kids. It was
different back then.
Yes. Oh my God. Like we were punk rock kids.
Right.
We used to get chased by the cowboys. There was a place that Visalia had.
Cowboys?
Yeah, Visalia.
Wait. Where are you right now?
Visalia.
You're getting chased by cowboys? Are they on horses?
Visalia is in the middle of the Central Valley, and there's a lot of farms out there. Mm-hmm. And like what I learned from a lot of my friends who were the Mexican workers is the head of the farm, he drives a white truck.
Okay.
All the workers drive blue, greens. So when you see the white truck coming, it's time to go to work. See a blue truck coming, this is one of the homies coming. So early on, I was like, oh man, like even like with jobs, like I worked for Del Taco for $2.65 an hour. And then my friend's like, you want to pick oranges? And I was like, pick oranges? He goes, yeah, you get up at 6 a.m, they'll give you $12 an hour. I'm like, I'm there. And then we're picking oranges, working with the Mexicans, and they were so funny to us. They made us have such a good time, showed us how to like make alcohol out of oranges, and, like showed us all these cuss words. Yeah, like, I was like such a young kid, and I wanted money. I wanted to buy a skateboard, and like $2.65 is like the slow road to try to get a skateboard, you know. So I just always take jobs like that, you know, like
when you're skating all these pools, you guys are. I feel like you guys are kind of making names for yourselves. Your little group.
There's just like people who have ramps. There's a kid out in Fresno.
But you guys are all traveling around together.
Well,
right?
that's how it was. That's how it was.
Yeah,
it's like there was like a kid in Fresno. They had a skate park out there. Then they closed the skate park. They took the metal full pipe, and this kid David Boneas, he had it come out to his house. So he had like a big 2 halves of a half pipe at his house. So we'd go out there and like we'd spend the night and skate and hang, and that was really fun. And like we would just go to places like that, like on road trips.
Your mom was right. She never saw you again.
I swear to God. I'd be like, Visalia, I'd be in Exeter, like 20 miles away skating. And then literally get home before the light came on. Because you had to get home before the light came on. Yeah. So I'd be riding my bike. And I'd get home just in time. Street lights on. Didn't catch no whippings. I was like, yeah, this is dope. Like,
What about school?
School. I was like a cheerleader in school. I was like one of those people in school that people were like, yeah, you're so unpredictable, Ron, man. Like, I'll never know what. And, like, every day you come, I was like this. I was playing football. I was like, man, look at them chicks, man. Like, I want to go be with the chicks, dude. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm all, well, if you were the cheerleader, you get to grab them, hold them, throw them up, catch them. Be like, yeah. I was like, I'm going to be a cheerleader next year. And they're like, no, you ain't. And I'm going to try out. I'm going to try out for mascot. So I tried out for mascot, and I won.
Okay.
And then I went to cheerleading camp. And the cheerleading camp was like 13,000 women and 6 dudes. I was like, my odds are good here. I like this place.
He's like, I'm in the right place.
Yeah,
I'm in the right place.
And I was like a mascot. So they showed us different ways to be mascots and stuff, but I really wanted to be a cheerleader. So the next year, I became a cheerleader for my senior year, and we went back to camp. And they had it so the guys were on the first floor and the girls were all on. It's in Santa Barbara at FT. Like all these, like the second through 10 floors was all chicks. So camp's over. I go up to I think there was a Petaluma girls. Had to hang with them. Went up to the Petaluma girls and they're like, Ron, what are you doing up here? And I'm like, camp's over, dude. I can come up and say what up. They're like, you got to go down to the office. You're in trouble. I was like, oh, man. So I went down to the office. I'm sitting in this office. I'm like, damn, man, my squad's going to be mad at me. And then all of a sudden, every instructor comes in the room. So I'm sitting in this little room, and every USA, it's called the United Spirit Association, every USA instructor comes in the room, and they go, you're not in trouble. I said, well, what's going on? And they're like, we want you to join USA. And I was like, what? And they're like, we want you to be on the squad. And I was like, oh, like, what? Like, I didn't know. I was like, yeah, let's go. But like, I was kind of like, oh, no, let's go, you know. And
How old are you at this
I'm 16.
Okay.
16,
Wow. Oh, yeah, 'cause
17.
you're a senior,
What do you
senior,
mean?
right? Okay.
Senior, yeah, 16. And they were like, well, no, at that point, though, I tried out when I was 16, and I didn't make it. And then I went back when I was about 18. Okay. And I'm telling you guys, that was one of the gnarliest interviews I've ever been in my life. The interview it wasn't about, like, I said to my dad, I said, hey, Dad, pick me. I'm going to go to this, like, cheerleading interview. Can you take me early? And he goes, yeah, well, why do you want to go early? I go, I'm going to do a couple toe touches and some back tucks. I want to make sure I got it down. He's like, okay. So we go early, and I wasn't thinking about the meeting. I was thinking about myself. Then the lady goes to the door and she says, on USA, 8:45 is on time, 8:50 is late, and 9 is unacceptable. And she locked the door of the place where the interview was. And there's cheerleaders, I don't know if you guys know this, cheerleaders are always late. Cheerleaders ain't never been on time to none.
Sounds like skateboarding.
Skateboarders just like that. Skateboarders, cheerleaders, I've been part of 2 organizations, they ain't never been on time. And all the girls that came late, their interview was over. And they were at the gate like, let me in! And it's like, no, you're actually not part of this.
Right.
And I remember going, wow, these people are serious. And then they go, we have spring training. And I was like, spring training? And we went to Northridge University, and like the football players, we were running, and I was just like, I was thinking cheerleading was like, handle some women, like, go, yeah.
Got some pom-poms.
And all of a sudden I'm out, man, lifting weights and stuff. And I'm like, oh, and that's when I started realizing, like, cheerleading was serious. And, like, I was like, these guys, like, I worked with, like, people like Paula Abdul and, like, who else was on those staffs? Like, people that you go, like, they're stars now. Terry Hatcher was on our staff. And people that you're like, you're a choreographer now. Like, Paula Abdul was always like, you had squads at home, and she would always be like, you guys are taking my classes, you got to be in there tight. You got to know what you're doing. And I'm like, I know how to dance, kid. Come on. I got 20 song girls, got to learn this routine from when I get back home. I got to take this routine and teach it to them.
But wait a minute, you're a full-fledged skateboarder at this point.
Always.
So why are you trying to make this trend? Like, what are you doing?
Chicks.
Okay. I understand that.
Chicks.
But at this point in time, are people making fun of you?
Oh, God.
Are they?
Cheerleading, you get made fun of. Cheerleading was the funnest thing. You get fun. Like, you get made fun of so much. The cheerleading squad would go over to the other side. So when you go over to the other side, they'd never seen a dude before. So I was like, you'd be like, and then you just throw a toe touch or a backflip or a toe touch backflip on them. People go,
oh yeah, I mean those toe touch backflips.
That'll get you. Yeah.
no,
I don't know anything about the toe touch backflips, but
the toe touch backflip, dude. It's like in cheerleading. There's a guy in cheerleading. His name was Rossi, and he was like the most amazing cheerleader. And he could do toe touches where his legs would go to V's and his arms would be down here. And you're like, blood. And as soon as I saw that blood, I was like, it's time to retire. I'm done. I'm going to skateboarding. And that's what they taught me. And what they taught me in cheerleading was to be professional.
Okay.
And skateboarding lacked professionalism, so I brought a little professionalism to the game.
Gullwing was your first sponsor, am I correct?
First, yep.
How did that even come about? What year was that around? Was that
everything? A lot of my skateboarding. My friend Scott Obradovich worked, I think, for Gullwing.
Oh.
And so it's like, hey, Scott. Scott's like, we can get you some trucks or something. But I think I had ran into Randy Jansen, who was and Joe Pilevi. They were both really nice guys, and they worked at Gullwing.
Are we doing any contests at this point? What are we doing?
No. oh man, I'm like, just like coming down here. Okay, so I went, my freshman year in college, I decided to go enter an ASPO, American Amateur Skate Park Official or whatever. So a friend of mine, Tammy, was like, she lived in Woodland Hills, and she was like, you know, I'm going to Woodland Hills. Rosita's right down the street. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. So I'll get a ride with you, then I'll get off in Woodland Hills, and I'll go skate to Rosita and skate in the contest.
Okay.
Well, that was 14 miles from Woodland Hills. Okay, so I skated 14 miles. I got there late at night, and it was close. And so I got to find some place to sleep, man. And I was looking around. I was like, oh, there's an empty car lot. So jumped over the fence, found a Jeep Jimmy. It was open. Got in the back of the Jeep Jimmy, crashed out. Woke up next morning. Oh, there's a dog. Jumped the fence, like roof over the fence so the dog wouldn't get me. Go to the contest. Enter the contest, run into somebody, get my finger pushed back. Totally don't do well. I think I got last. So then jump on my board. I got to meet Tammy back at the gas station that Sunday morning to get back to college. So I skated 14 miles. I skate. But on the way, I left early from Rosita. And when I got to, I saw some van conversion in a used car lot. Grabbed it and jumped in. Had a bed, slept. I slept too long, kind of, oh my God, I'm going to miss. And then I missed my ride back to Santa Barbara. And so I was at the gas station, and the dude at the gas station's like, I'll give you a ride when I get off at 6. It's like, okay, you know, and then all of a sudden these cars come in, and there's these motorcyclists, and they're going to Santa Barbara for the day, and I can get in the car with the dude.
Okay.
So I get in the car with the dude, and he's like, his wife's like, show him. I'm like, what's he going to show me? And he goes, he can roll the joint with one hand. And I was like, he can what? And he goes, he can roll a joint with one hand. And I got to see it. And so they did it. And I was like, oh my God, like that was amazing. And it's so funny because there's a guy, Don Carey, and that was his parents on their first date. So they were having their first date, and they were riding the car down for their friends who were motorcyclists. They were going to Santa Barbara, and they got me.
This is random.
Random. And I just jump in the car like, I need to ride back to Santa Barbara. So crazy, dude. That's crazy. That's my college years of skateboarding. I learned so I went to UC Santa Barbara. Mm-hmm. I was accepted, and I was part of the EOP program, Educational Opportunity Programs, where they bring the blacks and Latinos and Asians in before the white kids show up to like get you ready for college, right? And I was like, wow, you know, I was like, cool, I'm gonna be around my people. This is dope. So I get to camp. I get to UCSB, and they're like, all the black kids are like, so you ride a skateboard? I'm like, yeah, it's so fun. Like, you trying to be white? I'm like, huh? Like, you're trying to be like white? Like, you like white people, huh? I'm like, I never even connotated the skateboard towards being black, white, green, or purple. This is fun. So then I would sit in they ostracized me. I would sit by myself at lunch, dinner, breakfast. I'd sit in the chair by myself, and they would all sit over there. And they'd make fun of me, clowning. And then one day these two girls came over, and they were like, you know everyone doesn't like you. And I'm like, no, I don't really care. They're like, well, because you're black, but you want to be white. And I go, oh, yo, I got something for everybody. And she's like, what do you got? And I go, double birds. Oh, yo, man. Like, and that's the first, and I got to be honest, that's the first time that I experienced racism and prejudice from my own people. Mm-hmm. And so it changed the way I looked at racism and prejudice. And I think that it changed the way that life was for me, because those were my people. That was like black people. Like, I didn't have any love of white people, brown people. I just thought everybody was cool. So when they said that, I was like, wait, so skateboarding is a white thing? I never knew that. Mm-hmm. Like, and I'm like, and then I remember someone asked me, would you have done it if you thought it was a white thing? And I was like, it was fun thing. It had no connotation to color. It was a fun thing. At all. And so when, at my freshman year, when they were that way, I was so naive that it broke my heart. Like, I came home and my parents were like, so how was being in college with your people? And I was like, I can't wait till the white people show up. Like, I'm better with the white people. Like, I got all my skateboard friends are all these white kids, and we're cool. And like, black people back then were mean. Wow. Like, they were clowning me. Like, man, like you want to be white, dude? And I'm like, what? Like, and I remember having to be like having to have like this conviction of, I'm like, I always say this about scooter kids. I say this about scooter kids, and I tell this to skateboarders all the time. I'm all, do not clown them, because that gives you conviction. And conviction makes a 61-year-old man still skate to this day. So you see what I'm saying? Conviction. You tell somebody, and you clown somebody, and you clown somebody, and you clown somebody, and they look at, and they go, why are you clowning me? I like this. Right. Yeah. And then in the end, it's like now, and then, found out, like, I had a little history in it and stuff, and it's like, I look at all those people back then at UC Santa Barbara, and I'm like, how y'all doing? Right. Like, how y'all doing? Like, love ya. Because at the end of the day, really, that made me a better person. Because we had always thought skateboarding was cool. And I made a joke. I was like, I always thought skateboarding was cool. I didn't think it was like a black or white thing. It was a cool thing. And then they were like, yeah, no, it isn't. I was like, whoa, okay. That's your freshman year at UC Santa Barbara. Wow. I said, you're like, oh, well, okay, so. And then I remember I didn't like college. College was like, this is hella dumb. Like this is like we just 13th grade. Like 13th, 14th grade, 15th grade, 20th grade. It just made no sense to me. And I'm like, I remember I came home, yo, mom and dad, I got to have this talk. What's the talk? I think I'm going to really go in skateboarding. And they're like, really? And my dad's like, so like what? You're going to be like a pro or something? I'm like, think about it. And he's like, do you have other people to ride for? I'm like, no. Do you have any idea of how to do it? No. He's all, good luck.
Was this before Gullwing and everything? This is like, way before.
Well, Gullwing was kind of like, we'll give you $100 a month. I go, I got a contract with Gullwing for $100 a month. I'm making $1,200 a month a year now. And my parents are like, cool. Right on for you.
Well, making money as a skateboarder, you're like, I'm so
ready.
psyched.
Yeah, I'm on Gullwing's give me $100.
Well, when you got a Gullwing and you were getting $100, how soon after that was Vision streetwear?
Oh, well, Vision. I got stories.
I know.
Okay, so I go down to Santa Barbara, and they have
what year? Hold on.
It was like I want to say 84, 85.
We're still in the mid 80s.
Yeah, and they have a contest. They have like a contest though. Like they have like they invite Santa Monica. They invite everybody to come. So when we get there, Jesse Martinez is there wearing Pepsi pants, doing frontside boneless flips and shit, you know? And like, I'm like, whoa, and Nadas is there, and we're like, who is this dude, you know? And like, it was like, I'm from Isla Vista, because that's like my homies. So we're there like, who's these dudes on our turf, right? And I was known for ollieing people. Like, so they go 15 seconds, and my 5 friends would come out on the course and lay down next to each other, and I would ollie them. That was my shit. Like,
did you ever miss?
I'm getting there. Okay. So that was my claim to fame. I had done it a couple contests, and then here I see Jesse and I see Nadas, and I'm like,
you know who these people are at this point, or no?
No,
these
but they're hella good though.
Okay.
But they're like, we don't know that they're Nadas and Jesse, but they're doing shit that we never seen.
Gotcha.
So that's the first thing. So then I'm like, I'm gonna have to break out the 5-person ollie for quarterfinals, semifinals. Usually that's a finals thing. I had to break it out.
So I break it out early.
I break it out early. And who's going into it's Ron Allen first, Nadas second, Jesse third, going into the finals. I'm like, whoa, yeah. And Jesse Martinez turns to me and goes, you're going down, bro. You're going down. I'm like, is he gonna beat my ass? Is he gonna beat my ass? Is he gonna beat my ass? That dude looks like he's gonna kill me. And he's like, we're gonna bring out the real shit right now. And we're like, what's the real shit? I'm like, well, we've been doing this shit all the time. And then they start the finals. Jesse's third, starts his run. He goes, get away from the wall. And everyone's like, God damn. Moves away. Ollies up the curb, puts his hand on the ground. Wah-bah! Wall rides, spins the board on his foot, catches it, goes into an invert, and puts it on the ground. I ain't never seen that before in my life. And then he comes back and he goes, move out the way, and then he does a wall ride. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then Nadas comes out, board, like holding his board like a backside grab, runs next to the wall, and puts himself on his board on the wall and rides down. I'm like, I went from first to third. Right there, boom, first to third, you know? So I'm like, break out 7 people, let's go.
No.
So we got 7 people.
Had they seen the 5 before?
You've
done the 5.
I'm going to get 7 now. I took off. And poor Henry Gutierrez, I let it right on his nuts, man. Like, oh,
Henry Gutierrez.
Henry Gutierrez is like,
remember that name,
you hit
man.
me, dude. Like, I took off, and you know when you ollie wrong and the board just goes sideways?
Yeah.
You're like, ollie, and the board's like sideways. So I'm like, oh no. And then just didn't make it. It just,
Were you just like, you.
Yeah, come on. You know? And they're always like,
Henry, come get over here, man.
And Brandon Chapman, there's a shot of me ollieing people, and my friend Brandon, he's got his head up looking. I'm like, get your head down. I could have hit it. But yeah, that was like and then so Nadas.
So you didn't win, obviously.
I didn't win. Nadas, I think, won. Okay. Jesse got second, I got third. Okay. And after that contest, I was riding for Steve Stedham. Oh. And so I called up Stedham, like, because, you know, I was like, black man, riding for a black man, stoked. And then he's like, sell all your stuff. That's how you can get home. And I was like, huh? He goes, like, he goes, what'd you win? I'm like, some blind jeans, Airwalk bag, you know, them classic things that you get from skateboard contests in the 80s? He's like, sell it, and that's how you can get a bus ticket home. And I was like, a bus ticket? Now, you have to remember, a bus ticket from Santa Barbara to where at that time where I lived in Davis, it was about a 19-hour ride. Wow. Yeah. So I'm like,
were you expecting to fly or get a ride?
A ride would have been nice.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I'd have taken a thumb out, you know? Okay. But he's like, you know, you got to sell your stuff to get home. And I remember I hung up the phone, and Everett Rosecrans was right there at the phone bank. And he's like, Fly, because that was my nickname, Fly. And they was like, Fly, what's up? You skated great today. I go, I got to sell my stuff to go home. And he's like, call him back and quit, and you can ride for Vision. And he goes, I'll fly you home.
Wow.
And I was like, what? And he goes, call him back and quit. And I'm like, Bibbidi-dee.
That's so good.
Got to go, you know, and so I quit, and then I got on Vision, and I went back to Vision to the warehouse, and got some boxes, got a flight home. It was like,
yeah, that's tight.
This is good, you know. I was like, this is rad, like,
okay.
And then that's when I was like, so I'm on Vision, and I'm like, at the time, Mark Gonzalez kind of was already getting ready to leave to do something else. I think Blue or some other company that he was doing, and then Gator. Well, you know what he had done. So they were looking at me like, next year, you know, you're going to make about $150,000, be our pro. I'm like, sick, let's go, right? I'm totally down.
You didn't have an board at this point? No. Okay.
And so then that's when Mike Ternasky was like, hey, we're going to do this H-Street thing, and we'd like you to come along. And I was like, you know, I'm on Vision. And he's like, yeah. I go, you know they're going to make me pro next year. And he goes, yeah, we're going to make you pro now. And I'm like, wait, like right now? And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, he goes, you got to fly to Las Vegas and sign your contract. And I was like, okay. So I flew to Las Vegas. And
how long after this was? Because this was 89.
87.
So you've already been on Vision a couple years.
Yeah, I've been on Vision for 85, 86. And then I rode Marty Jimenez's board. I rode Jinx's boards all the time. And like, that was just the best board. And so then all of a sudden I'm on Vision, and then I get on H-Street and I get my first pro check. And
what was the first pro check for?
$500, and it bounced.
Sounds about right.
That's so good.
And it bounced. It bounced. And then when back then when you wrote a check off a check, you wrote like your PG&E bill and your phone bill, they bounced too. So I had no phone. I couldn't call and get pissed.
Oh, so you're trying to deposit your check along with all your other bills?
Yes, I'm and I remember being like, Tony, my check bounced. And they're like, we'll figure it out.
Who was this? Tony Mag?
Tony Mag and Mike. I'm like, the check bounced.
Was H-Street already going or just started?
H-Street, I was the kind of the first guy. Okay. Well, no, to be honest, John Schultes was the first guy because he was riding for Uncle Wiggly. And then when Uncle Wiggly switched to H-Street and Magnuson, like Schultes was kind of Magnuson's right-hand man, was always there for him. So he kind of went with Tony. But then I was like the first guy to come as a street skater.
Okay.
So like,
now, did you have, because here's the thing. I'm trying to picture back in the day, Vision Streetwear, they said that you're going to be their guy, $150,000 a year, whatever the case may be. Pros were making a lot of money back then for their boards. They were making $20,000 plus a month.
Oh my God.
From their boards.
Yeah. Oh.
So you're already maybe seeing this like, hey, here's an opportunity. Now, here comes Mike Ternasky saying, hey, we got this H-Street thing. Did you feel comfortable leaving that opportunity?
Good.
Or
got another story for you.
Yeah.
And it goes like this. No.
Here it goes.
Here it goes.
No, so the check bounces, and I don't know who knows the check's bouncing. Other than, it's a kind of a private issue.
Sure.
So I'm at the trade show, and Dave Brown, Syndrome.
You're at ASR.
He goes, hey, Ron, walk with me, talk with me. And I'm a smart man. I said, buy me a Dove bar. All right?
That's what a smart man would do.
Okay, smart man. Why? Because, Roger, you remember Dove bars were like $20.
They were good, yeah.
And they were great, but they were the most expensive thing at a trade show. Like
you talk about ice cream.
Ice cream. It was like a $20 bar.
It was like a premium ice cream at the time.
So when he spent $20 on it, I went, oh, this nigga got some money. Come on,
Okay.
So then
you were doing it till you were tested.
I was like, yeah. So then he put 5G on the table and says, quit H-Street, come ride for Media and Syndrome.
Wow.
And I'm like, I had all the bounce checks, the PG&E and stuff, and that I would have taken care of it, And I'm looking at that money. And I'm like, wow, that's 5G, man. like I put my hand on the stack. Like,
Let me see if it's real.
like the Bible or some shit.
oh, that's real. And then he was like, we'll work with you, and you quit H-Street. And I was like, man, I think Tony and Mike said they're going to do me right, so I'm going to give them a chance.
Oh, you're going to give them
a chance, And he's like, well, if anything changes, And I remember I went right to the booth. I was like, that man offered me 5G.
Yeah, tell
What
him.
did they say?
Oh, they were like, he what? And they were pissed. Because
sure.
back then, everyone, you don't mess with writers and stuff. And he offered me 5G. And they were like, we're going to talk to him. And I'm like, at the time, I was like, we were hurting back then. H Street was hurting. And people didn't realize that. Like, when my check bounced and stuff, we were dealing with some, issues. And so I personally was like, hey, Mike, we got to figure this out. And so that's when Hello, this is George came out.
Okay.
Because we were hurting. We were like, we couldn't sell our boards anywhere. We were the company against the industry.
Yeah.
People did not like us. They called us names. They clowned us.
Why?
Because we were different. We skate. We didn't.
How different were
we? Didn't.
Like-
We didn't have an editing studio to make our videos. We didn't have I fired the first H Street filmer because he was a dude who came with a wheelchair, and he's like, he wasn't in a wheelchair. He's a regular walking human, but he would sit in the wheelchair and try to film. And I'm like, Vlad, I live in Oakland, man. And you're up and they're going to be seeing me like, why you making that handicapped man film you, bro? I'm like, no, he wants to do that. He wants to do that. So I was like, you got to go, dude. This is crazy. Because he'd be like, wait up. He's like, I got this film thing with the wheelchair. I'm like, nigga, no.
But when you're that's not gonna work.
You can't have a wheelchair guy filming you unless he's really into it. You know what I mean?
I feel like you're doing a set at the comedy club right now. But listen, you gotta. Well, hold on.
That was great.
It's real talk.
No,
it's real. I can't even make this stuff up, dude. That's
For
how
sure,
it was.
for sure. But hey, my question though is but H Street popped off though.
Right.
It popped off.
The video came, and that's what we were talking about, getting fed and having, giving us, personal things to,
You're talking about Shackle Me Not.
Yeah, Shackle Me, that
came
first
out.
video, and it was like, if you, I remember I had an attitude about it.
Wow,
I was like,
how so?
I'm Ron Allen.
Oh, you already had an ego.
I was like, I'm Ron Allen in this. I don't even need to do this. And then I was like, what did Hensley do? Wait, and Chappelle? What did he do?
Here we go.
And then I was like,
we got some Ron Allen right here.
my friend called that the ollie of the crosswalk.
Wow.
He says
Oh,
that's
that's
like
sick.
Michael Jordan. He said it's like Michael Jordan jumping from the
Free
top
throw
of the
line.
And I was
Yeah.
like, this dude's funny, man.
Who's that dude?
He's like, he goes to college.
He looks like a smart guy.
He looks like a
hair
smart
is
guy. He goes
flowing,
to college.
dude.
Dude, it's so funny because this
This is 1998, by the way.
Yeah,
I mean, excuse me.
88. And I signed my first pro contract in Las Vegas, watching Alfonso Raul skate the vert ramp, and with Brian Lottie sitting to my left
How
side.
amazing is that?
Yeah, he was doing Stalefish
Legend.
McTwist and everything, and it was like, this dude he was the Black Tony Hawk, man. I used to say that. I don't think he liked it, but him and I didn't get along early, and now we get along really well. But do
you not get along because you guys felt threatened by each other?
No, I think it was
Competition?
because he was they were like him and Costin were they were little kids,
they were
man.
dope,
They
dude.
were so rad, but they were some rabble rousers. They were needle you, trying to get you, and then you lose it, and they're like, oh, I see you're fucking losing it, bro.
They're pushing buttons.
Oh my god! But now, Eric wasn't as much as Alf was.
Right.
But Alf, I think Eric was probably to somebody else. But Alf was my little nemesis. But at the
Okay.
end, we wind up becoming really good friends. And I can tell you guys, we're about to do something soon.
Ooh.
Nice.
Little
Okay,
collab.
with this Everybody Skate stuff?
Everybody
skates.
skates. That's good.
Little-
That's
Shout
tight.
out to Alfonso
I
Raul.
swear,
Big
Alfonso
shout
Raul.
out.
And you know what?
He's still skating?
Yes.
Like
He
it was
used to.
Yeah.
he hasn't aged,
hasn't
and he
dropped.
still skates amazing.
He's an amazing skater, and
Super
you know what?
super
And he's an
good.
amazing designer, and it's amazing to see how many skateboarders after their said careers went on into that world, and he's still designing.
Very
stuff.
talented.
An amazing human being.
Very talented.
Yes.
So everybody was clowning you guys, making fun of you guys, H-Street, before Shackle Me Not comes out. Shackle Me Not comes out, and boom!
Everyone's like,
This is the shit.
step hops. Everyone did not understand step hops.
Right.
And Hensley could do every one of them. I had him teach me in a parking lot one day, what are all these things you're doing, dude? How do you do that? And so he had that step hops, he had all those crazy kind of, and kids couldn't do them, but once they did, they got hyped. You know, like he was like Matt was one of the most like amazing skaters that didn't want to be an amazing skater. He just liked skating. So he tripped when people were like, Matt Hensley. He's like, whoa. This is just me, dude.
I'm just doing me.
Just doing me, man. Like,
He always seemed like a humble ass dude.
to the point of like, you'd just be like, Matt, you're like, dude, like he could teach classes on being humble. The guy's just a good dude. You know what I mean? And
I
then,
love people like that.
It's great.
It's usually the best people.
Oh my God.
I mean, the most talented.
I got a funny Hensley story though for you. We used to always on tour have to stop and call the girlfriends, you know, get like $10 in quarters and go call, you know. So we stop at this one place and he calls his girlfriend and they get in an argument and he gets back in the car and he's sitting in the car and I'm all, you all right, Matt? And he's like, you know, he like throws a little tap at him and he kicks. Like he kicks. He's wearing his like Doc Martens and he kicks, hits the window. I'm like, you broke the front window of my rental car. He's like, sorry, dude. I'm all, I gotta explain this when I get back. He's like, sorry, dude. So I'm all, we get back to the airport and I'm gonna put your head in the crack. And he goes, what? And I push his head and he got a little blood and hair in there. So then I dropped the car off and I'm like, yeah, my friend, the seatbelt man, and went haywire. My friend hit his head. Oh my God, here's $2,700, Mr. Allen. Matt's like, that's my money. No, it ain't. No, it ain't.
Wow, dude. Some fast thinking right there.
Dude, I am the king of...
Put your head against this window.
Dude, I am the king of fast thinkers. You have to, as a skateboarder owner of a company. If you're not a fast thinker as a skateboarder owner of a company, the knock on the door will be a policeman. You'll go answer the door, and he'll go, like to talk to Ron Allen? And you go, let me get him. And you close the door. And the cop, you go, let me get him. The cop doesn't know he's talking to you.
Yeah.
So you go back in the room and you're like, okay, there's a cop at the door. What's up? And everyone's like, we don't know. Damn it. Now I got to go back. It's me.
I had to verify.
I had to make sure. And he's like, yeah. So it's just like that. Where like we were on tour. We saw Hensley on that Plan B tour. We were on tour. I was with the neighborhood guys. Neighborhood guys. We're in Chicago.
Julio De La Cruz.
All of us just having a good time. And then like Theo Han was there and he brought some girls up from he'd met some girls that day. So he brought them. And for some reason, I'm like this. I don't like them girls, man. And everyone's like, Ron, man, why you tripping? I'm all, I don't like the vibe, bro. I don't like them girls. And they're like, Ron, you're tripping, dude. Just have fun. I'm all, y'all should be in the other room. We're going to be in this room. Y'all should be in the other room. Everyone's like, Ron, why are you so weird? So the next day, knock on the door, answer the door. There's a Chicago policeman standing there. He's like, I'd like to talk to Ron Allen. I'm like, let me get him. Shut the door, walk in. Like, everyone's looking like, I don't know. I'm like, go back to the door. He's like, takes my license, goes, follow me. I'm like, what's going on, bro? He goes, follow me. I'm like, oh, what's happening? He goes, you have a 15 and a 16 and 17-year-old girl in your room? I said, they said they were over 18. He goes, no. And they did some really heinous stuff in St. Louis. Killed the grandmother.
Oh, what?
And now they came to hook up with you guys and said they're going to go on with the crime spree. And I'm like, oh, no, we're skateboard crew. We're from California. We have demos. We're on tour. We're like on skate tour. We're on skate tour, man. And he's like, I go call Southport Rigging in Kenosha, Wisconsin, because that's our next demo, and that's where we're supposed to be. And they called them and found out. And those girls were lying.
Damn.
And we were just like this. I was like, I knew I didn't like them. I had that vibe. I was feeling that vibe, dude. And that's like one of those intuition things where you're like, I didn't like him, and everyone thought I was weird.
But how did the cops know that it was you? Like, what are they asking you for?
Because the girls, when they had gone down in the basement when Theo Han found them, and they were trying to go out the end, and like they're trying to drive their car out the spiked end or something. Oh. So they created this huge thing in the hotel, and like, dude, for about a good half an hour, Ron was going to be in the Cook County Jail.
What a crazy!
Dude. I mean, and
that came straight for you.
Oh my God,
that's like a Lifetime story.
Oh my God, and that's
Jesus Christ.
on the way to a contest one time in Chicago. How was happening to me in Chicago? I'm in Chicago. I get off. Someone drops me off. Skate to the airport. Go into my gate. All of a sudden, cop grabs me. I'm like, whoa. He's like, no skating in the airport. He's like, a man out of nowhere. I don't even know him. I had no clue. Walks up and goes, I will press charges. I'm like, bro, I don't even know you. How you gonna press charges? I never ran into you. He's like, he ran into me. I'm gonna press charges. The cop's like, puts me in the car, and he goes, both cops. I'm in the car, and they're like, they go, think you're a badass skateboarder, huh? I'm like, I don't know about that, but they're all, we want to see you cry. I said, what? I said, we want to see you cry. I said, all right. I thought about like my grandma passing. All right, cried. They let me off. Dropped me off right in front of the airport. What did I do? Skated right to my gate. No, dude, like that type of stuff. You go when people talk about racism right now in America, it makes me laugh because if you were in that situation, you can't say anything. Like they're like, you ever been to the Cook County jail? I'm like, no. They go, it's the worst jail in America. They go, you're lucky that if you get put in that jail, you'd be lucky if you get out. And I'm like, I'm a skateboarder. Like, I'm not.
What did I do?
And it was like, whoa, like eye-opening.
Wow.
Eye-opening. And that's like, I've always told my guys, like all my teams, they'll always tell you, Ron will be good to you because Ron knows that at the end, it's like, you know, we're on the road. We're all together. We have to be together. We have to stand strong. And we have, because you're out there in the middle of America.
Right.
Anything can happen. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And I've been so blessed to be out and be back and had nothing happen. No one died on my tours. No one got arrested on my tours. Nothing bad happened. But boy, we had some times where you're just like, oh my God. Like, I just told the story last night about my car breaks down in Panama City, Florida. And I got a AAA. And so with AAA up, tow truck comes. He's got a flatbed. He doesn't have a tow truck. He pulls the car up backwards. So the back of the car is at the front and the spacing backwards. It's got a truck. We all kind of walk towards the front of the truck, just like, you know, I guess we're all going to get in this truck. Dude turns to us and goes, I go, AAA, right? He goes, no, 100 cash. I went, whoa. And he goes, oh, I don't allow niggers in my truck. Just like that. Dude. And I remember looking at John Reeves and going, did he just? He did. Whoa, right? And then he drove my car 60 miles to Dothan, Alabama, dropped it off at a Honda dealership on a Friday night, and we had to get a hotel and wait till Monday. And then we were just in Dothan, Alabama, like 3 black guys in Dothan, Alabama, and the funniest thing is we're skating. Cop rolls up on us, and we're like, here we go. And he goes, y'all know where you're at? And we're like, no. He goes, you're in the home of Jamie Thomas.
No way.
We're like, what? He goes, you're Jamie Thomas. You skate that rail right there. Hey, come on. I'm going to show him another rail they skated. We're like, what? That's crazy, right? So then we go and look at it. He goes, we're in Jamie Thomas's hometown, Dothan, Alabama. What's good? Like, you know.
You just went from like the most opposite.
And it was like, huh? Okay. Like, oh my God. Like, and
Were
then
you with John the Man Reeves? Who else?
It was me, John the Man Reeves, and I want to say Lamont McIntosh. And Lamont was from New York. And so when we get to the hotel, because we have to stay there for 2 or 3 days till the car gets fixed, they meet up with a group of like dancers, and they go out. Like they go, Ron, we're going to go out. And I'm like, please be careful. Like, just please. And then they come back and they're like, they were hookers.
Oh, jeez.
We're going to go out with these girls.
They thought they were going out with like dancers, you know, going to dance a couple moves. And it's like, oh no, they're like strippers, and you guys are like part of the background.
Oh my
Oh my God, I felt so bad for those guys. Their eyes were like 50 cent pieces. They were like, oh my God, that was crazy. I was like, but you're back here now. We'll get the car and we'll go home. Like, it's always, let's get the car and go home.
You should have had a company called that. Let's get the car and go home.
We'll just go home and we'll be fine. You know?
So let's go back to the I love it. Please tell us any more tour stories because those are great. But because you're skating for H-Street.
Yep.
Pretty soon, you and Ternasky go and start another company called Life.
Yep.
How long were you on H-Street until you guys made that move, and why did you make that move? Here's Ternasky. You guys have this company. I mean, Ternasky has this company.
I got kicked off at H-Street.
Did you?
Not kicked off, but like, me and Alf had like a really kind of the last time we had a physical thing.
Okay.
And like, so they were like, you know, they knew
Oh,
Alf.
so you really had
They
something
knew
going on with
Alf with their boy, though. They knew that this dude's too rad.
Okay.
And like, I was kind of like, I kind of had this thing with him. But then what it was that, you know, I was like, I could see the writing on the wall. You know, it was like, our days were numb.
You're pro already.
Yeah, but when you write for H-Street, like H-Street had 60 people on at one point. And like, you're just like, I remember me and Matt went to Mike and we're like, 60 people on the team list? Like, who's paying who here? Like, you know?
Were you getting good checks for your boards?
Oh my God. Man, come on. Like,
what were we talking about?
I saw a couple checks that I seriously had to call back and be like, hey, you guys mess up, man.
Too many zeros?
This says like 12,500. Like 12,500 boards? Are you serious?
Oh, my
12,500 boards
Yeah.
times
Sold.
2. You're getting $2 a board.
I'm making $1.
Oh,
I'm making $1.
Okay.
I'm
That's
like,
great. Still,
I'm still taking it. I ain't crying. I'm taking it, going like, oh my god. I
This is
remember
a monthly-
me and Matt would have these contests, and like, how many boards you sell? I did this much. Well, I did that much. It's like, oh, you beat me by 1,000.
When you saw
That's amazing.
the team growing and growing and growing, did your checks start shrinking and shrinking and shrinking? No.
checks got bigger and bigger.
Really?
Because it was like more people started riding the boards, and more people, and then from me going
But
out,
you had 60-some people on
But
the
were
team.
they all pro? They weren't all
They were
pro.
all pro.
No,
No,
pro.
yeah.
There were AMs and there were pros, and
I
like,
know, but I'm
it
just-
was just too much stuff, and it was like they were getting to the point where H-Street was like, who's on H-Street?
But you were still, your checks were growing and growing and
Yes,
growing.
yeah.
at
I
this
remember
point?
one time we were at AWH, and like we were getting ready to leave on their like tour, and the guy's like, everything in that warehouse is you and Matt's. And we looked over, and there were 6 pallets each that had 6 pallets RA, 6 pallets MH. Wow. 6 pallets, 1,000 boards. That was 6,000 boards at AWH. When we came back from tour, all of them were gone. I was like,
It's working.
whoa, dude, like this is really working. Like we're selling, and at the time, we didn't my first checks bounced, you guys.
I know.
When your first checks bounced, you save everything after that. You are worried.
Sure.
Because everything after that, you go, and as the checks get bigger, you're like, oh my God, they're gonna bounce now. But they didn't, and so it was just like, oh my God, like H-Street, Tony and Mike did a good job of keeping people that were. You kind of realized you were part of a bigger thing. So like me, Danny, Matt, kind of were held in a different world than everybody else was. But then in the end, I didn't like the way they sort of like retired Matt, and I didn't like that. Because Matt
He was kind of forced into retirement.
because
a little bit?
I was with him the whole time, skating hard, and I was like, why did they retire you? He's it's partying. No, you weren't. Not with me. I mean,
Why'd they kick you off?
well, I was fighting Alfonso. I had different mentalities about boards, and what
do you
wanted
mean? What
to
was
do.
your mentality
Well, like
about?
I wanted to make my own graphics. I wanted to do my own shit. And I was just like, I kind of got tired. Like my friend Scott O'Bradovich was doing the art, so it was good to go to him and be like, let's work on stuff. And then another guy came in, and they were working with him. But I just I kind of felt their stuff was a little corny, and I was like graffiti, and I like kind of streety, and I was like, I liked what Jeff Clint did for me.
Okay.
And I wanted to stay in that vein, and they wanted to go a different vein, and so I was just like, it's all good,
You think they felt like you were just being kind of like a nuisance or
Well, and
something,
I-
or
yeah, and I
like
think-
too needy, maybe?
I think black skaters sometimes have gotten that a lot. Volatile. You're angry all the time. Why you so pissed? Why you mad? And it's like, because y'all keep fucking up. Like, y'all listen. Like, y'all should listen to us. We're out there in the streets actually seeing what's happening. And if you listen to us, we would make even more money. But you don't listen to us. And so you make it seem like we don't know what we're talking about. And you make it seem like you do. And I remember being like,
Well, here's the thing, though. This is what's confusing me right now is because it was Ternasky's company, H-Street.
and Tony Mack.
And Tony Mag. Okay, Tony Mag. Because you and Ternasky then left to make Life.
Well, no, we stayed part of H-Street, but
was under the same umbrella.
Same
Same
umbrella, same
umbrella.
company. But now Life was now my company.
But why did you and Ternasky start Life?
Because Sheffey called. Straight up.
That's a good.
And to be honest, this is crazy. Sheffey and Julian called, and I'm in my apartment.
Julian Stranger.
Yeah, and they're like, "Yo, we want to ride for you," and I'm like, "Hold on a second, let me lay down on the ground here."
Life has already started.
Yeah, life is going. I lay on the ground. I said, "What did you say?" And they said, "We want to write for you." And I said, "You write for Nodis, and that's my homie." And he ain't, I ain't taking. First of all, Nodis is bigger than me. He will beat my ass. And I ain't taking none of his writers. I ain't gonna do that. And they're like, no, we're not happy. But Julian, like, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna work it out. And Chef's like, we want Chef to go. And so I'm like, okay, Chef, you're coming with me. And then as soon as Mike saw Chef, it was like, over.
So wait, Chef was riding for Nodis at that time?
At the time,
SMA.
because he was writing for Shut, and then he got on SMA, and he was
okay,
wearing
that was
they wearing the cool shorts that Nodis had made
Yeah.
for his clothing company.
But
And,
wait a minute.
and
But that was very short-lived, though.
very
right?
because he
Yes.
was wearing.
Okay.
Remember, he was wearing Nodis' shoes even.
Yes. Okay.
And then it was like, it just like he came to H-Street.
Yeah.
But what?
So you were
But so-
you were the only pro going into Life.
No, Life had Jesse Newhouse,
Yeah.
John Reeves, and then it was crazy because we had talked to
why?
Donger, Kian Liu, he was part of it.
Yeah.
And so all of us, because H Street had gotten so big, that it had to
You
expand. Had to expand. If it stayed
But
H-Street,
why did you and Ternasky start Life?
because I was just basically like living in a full-time era. I was really into De La Soul back then, and they had a thing called living in a full-time era. It's Life. And I was like, Mike, check this out. Living in a full-time era, Life. We could do this company. And like, it was just, for me, it was like I wanted to run my own company.
So you didn't really get kicked off,
Well,
did you? Like you just
were
kind of like parted ways,
like-
but you stayed under the same
they
umbrella.
slid you in another office
made some
space.
adjustments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
I love the way Ron talks. We made some adjustments.
Yeah, simple.
Yeah, so that way everyone's happy, no one's mad, everything's good. Right. And for me, it was, I wanted to run my own company. I wanted to do my own thing. You know what I mean? And
By the way, the Soldier Story,
whoo, but
my
now
God,
I give
Such
that
a
up
good
to
video.
Daniel Harold Stewart.
Right.
He was the one who made it. He was the one who put the time in. He was the guy that, that video would not be that video without Daniel Harold Stewart.
Classic, bro. Straight
Daniel
classic.
Harold Stewart, that man is he should that's another person in skateboarding that, where is that guy nowadays?
Right. Yeah, I haven't heard
Daniel
anything.
Stewart.
Bushes.
yeah, he's
Dude,
taking some of the most iconic
oh my God,
skateboard photos.
Do you know that I think he got fired he came up to the Bay to do my interview, and they had somebody else to do it, and he had these plans for me, and I remember like that was like the first time that he had plans. You know what I mean? Someone had plans.
So he was filming back then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I always assume as a photographer, like from my generation, right?
Yeah.
But
How
like, yeah.
old were you at this point? 1991, Soldier Story.
91. I think I was 25, 26.
Okay.
Like
When
I
you
was
were so Sheffey was obviously
Bad.
much younger.
Oh
This
my
is so
God.
sick, dude.
And
Now,
I used to get
it was like
reports
16,
every day.
17 right
I used to
here.
get reports every day. Sheffey, like, Mike would call me up. Sheffey did this. I'd be like, he did what? Sheffey did this.
By the way, we can't play the music because of the soundtrack to this and
Yes.
the
Legendary shit.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
yes.
oh, so
And then like
good.
that, like half cab, a picnic table. Never forget this crazy story. Me and Matt at a hotel when we first met
Mickey
Sheffey.
Ollie.
Yeah, and Mike's like, "Hey man, come out here, Ron. Come out here, Matt." And we're like, "Okay." In a parking lot, standard demo in a parking lot, and there's an oil barrel in the middle of the parking lot. And Mike goes, "Go ahead, chef." show him.
Show him.
perform.
Sheffey comes and he like backside 180s this oil drum, and I remember going, Matt,
Standing up.
oil drum, boom.
Yeah.
Then half cabs it, boom. Fakey ollies it. I'm like, who is this dude? Like, I never seen anybody fakey ollie it back then.
Yeah,
Who
especially
fakey
then,
ollie
nobody.
things? Nobody. He fakey ollied an oil barrel. I think that's the hardest thing I've ever seen done. Like, and if you're,
Well, he's a beast.
Oh, my
bro.
God.
I mean, just look at this part. Look at Sean Sheffey's Soldier Story. Just look at this part. It's,
We went and searched that spot out specifically. I think that's at Santa Barbara.
yeah, to my college. I ollied that first.
Did you? Yes. Yeah.
Let it be known.
Put it out there.
but when he did it, I didn't think he landed so far.
Yeah.
Like I barely clipped. Look how far he landed. It's like Sheffey was a man among men and a man among boys, baby.
Yeah.
And he would do things and you would have to be like, did
That
he
was
just
nuts.
do that? Like in Fort Wayne, demo's over. The demo's over. Everyone's like, they push the quarter pipe from this far over here, push the quarter pipe here. People are milling around. I look over and Sheffey's in full push. I'm like, oh my God, what's he gonna do? He goes off the quarter pipe, method grab over everybody in the middle. Like if you were like talking to your girl in the middle, he's flying over you. He doesn't care. And he lands, and as he lands, the kid goes out of his way. Like he was about to just ding somebody, and the kid's like, whoa, you almost hit me. And I was like, yeah, dude, you gotta say something, bro. You almost killed people. And he's like, oh man, I just saw it. I just wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And he's like, that was his mentality. And then once he got around Nodis, it was over. Because Nodis was that kind of skater. People do not, like Nodis would do stuff and you'd go, did he just do that? Like, I remember at a demo one time, they put a rail slide between two quarter pipes. And the rail slide was like 30 feet. And Nodis 50-50 did the whole thing. He just did it like it was nothing. And it was like, Nodis, like, you got to make it look hard.
Well, see, I mean, I wasn't around
Can't
that,
do
but
it
they
that easy.
skated fast.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Yes.
It was
like,
crazy.
Like wax it still and go fast. Like,
Were you just like doing like running the company at that point?
pretty much.
Yes.
But like really, a lot of it was like I didn't I knew how to do some things, and then some stuff H-Street would do, like, ordering clothes. I kind of didn't really do that until I had my own gig. H-Street would kind of order us that. But it was mostly just keeping the guys together, making sure, people got their boards. Kind of almost like a bona fide team member, team manager,
Yeah.
Well, what
Parameter.
happened though? Because 2 years later, life was very short-lived. It was 2 years,
Over.
just about. Ternasky went to form Plan B.
Yeah.
What was the conversation there? Like, were you just left in the dust? Like, what
No,
happened?
I got the call from Mike, and it's like, man.
Why though? What was going on with life?
Tony should have never said this. Like, Mike was the guy. Like, Mike was our guy. Like, he looked out for us. Like he was like we most of us didn't have like. Oh, I'm gonna get emotional. No, back then, nobody gave a fuck about you in skateboarding. This dude cared. I remember playing games like of skate with him, and he's like, we're playing like games of skate for like $5,000. And he's like, I'm gonna make you pay me. And I remember going, what? Like, I thought we were just joking around. He's like, no, you make enough money now. If you're gonna bet $5,000, you're gonna pay me $5,000. I'm like, oh damn, I ain't playing skate with you no more. Like, damn, But like, yeah, like Mike.
You were saying he would take you out to eat and all this stuff.
And he was
It's like-
always, and he would like he brought me these cassette tapes. They were called The Winning Edge, Positive Outlook, Optimism.
Motivational.
Oh, yeah, he's
and then
definitely one of
and
those
like you
guys.
would, and you would put them on before contests. Like you'd fly to a contest with the Optimism tape in your ears. You
Like
go
a
to tours.
form of meditation.
Yeah, so you'd be meditating on the plane, and then you get there and you go, how did I skate that good? What the hell? Oh, the optimism. I didn't find anything wrong with what I was doing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was crazy. And Mike was the first one that was like doing that. So Tony didn't realize that Mike had such a brethren with us. We were such as bro and stuff. And so then Tony kind of said to Mike, you don't, I'm your plan A. You don't have a plan B.
Wow.
Damn. He ran with
He
it.
ran it. Like,
Oh,
yes. And then
wow.
Mike went,
Okay.
oh, yeah?
You just gave me the name.
Here's my plan B, baby.
Damn.
Here's my plan B. And I say to Tony all the time, I go, when you see plan B, does that... do you guys remember King of the Hill?
How do you feel?
Do you remember King of the Hill? King of the Hill had a nemesis, and his name was Thatherton. And you say that if you said it to his like the King of the Hill guy, you go Thatherton. Thatherton. Oh. Like, and I go, when you say Plan B, do you go Plan B? Oh. You know what I mean? He goes. No, I use the wrong words.
Right.
Well, because right now there's a little controversy. They're trying to make an H-Street documentary.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm not going to be involved. And they're like, what? I said, I'm not going to be involved. And like the lady is his wife that's making it. And I was like, she's like, you're not going to be involved? I said, no, because she said, oh, it's a hero's tale. And I said, no, man, heroes, those are businessmen. Heroes are like soldiers that go in to fight, or firemen who go into a blame building. Businessman ain't being a hero unless he saves somebody on his vacation. You know what I mean? So when you talk about two people being heroes,
That was fucking dope right there.
you know what I mean? Like, so when you talk about people being heroes, businessmen aren't heroes. They're making money. So those guys are making money off
But
of
what's
us.
this controversy thing that you're
Well,
talking about?
to me, when you start to tell a story about H-Street, when you're going to tell a story about H-Street, you weren't there for
Right.
what was you weren't there for the tough ass times that H-Street was tough. You see the good and you see all the great, but I'm one of those guys that experienced the check bouncing, calling shops to see if we can get out there.
And they don't want to cover any of this? Is
I
that
don't know
what
if they want to cover it, but it's at the end of the day, like, you don't want to talk about something that the black man did.
The real shit.
I'm a black man. I did it for myself and my people, and my people were skateboarders, and we were doing that to make skateboarding good. And to do that, it was just like I felt disrespected, because at the end of the day, she wasn't there. If she was there, tell that damn story. That's dope. But you got to be there, because if you weren't, what made it gnarly? What made it gnarly was we were living it.
Yeah.
We were like they made a joke at me at Deluxe. They're like, you want to ride for Ron's team, you got to move in his apartment, and then when you want to quit, you got to find yourself a new home. That is actually true. I was trying to say, no, that isn't true. Well, they all do live at my house, and
You bring him in. Though, I mean.
yeah, and that way you can talk to them and you can work with them, and I'm the owner. I'm like a physical person. I can hug you if you do well. I can high five you. I will smack you upside your head if you did wrong. And it's like I saw that as like sometimes in skateboarding there was a lot of that, like afraid to just be like, hey, cut that out, like stop doing that, and I was
Like
older.
they don't like being told what to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
And I was older, so I was kind of like that too. Like, I didn't want to be told what to do. But then you get around Tony and Mike, and like, I just know Mike was good at motivating.
Yeah.
And Tony was a writer, but he was the owner, but he was a writer. You know, and he rode Bert, and no disrespect on Bert, he killed it.
Yeah.
He even won a couple contests and stuff. So, but in the end, now that H-Street that was then ain't the same that it is now. Sure. Now the new H-Street, rad skaters, they're doing a great job with what they're doing. Give them love and respect. But if I sometimes think it's not like documentary, like we're working currently on a documentary for myself with this guy Pat McGee, and we've been working on it for 3 years to try to sell it and talk to people about it. And it's like a lot of people, what I found is I'm not a skateboard champion. I won when I was AM. I got my highest place. I think I got 5th in France, like 700 French
what about
francs.
third place when you hit Hector in the balls?
AM, but
I hope his name was Hector. I can't remember what you were.
Henry Couture.
Henry.
But like it's like I don't want to get too deep into it, but really it just comes down to like it's a love fest, and it's all based on love, and everything that was done back then was based on love.
Yeah.
And so now that we're deep in 2024, like don't forget that like everybody is the way they are now, enough respect, but a lot of stuff back then was ran from love.
Yeah.
Ran from no one knew what they were doing. No one had a clue. And that was the greatest thing. Because if you would have had a clue, then you would have fucked it up.
Well, you had mentioned businessmen, but at the end of the day, everybody's a skateboarder, right? Nobody went to school for business.
No.
Nobody did this. You try to turn into a business guy and try to figure it out.
Dude, that's why I love Deluxe. I love Deluxe. When life went to fun and fun went to Deluxe, that's when I got an education.
But wait a minute. Hold on really quickly. Ternasky went to Plan B. Got the name easy.
Yes.
I love the name.
You
that.
guys, so you guys
What a
didn't know
layup.
that? You didn't know?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I didn't know that.
I might have heard that, but I definitely didn't. I didn't remember it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's funny. When they talk about it, I wanted Tony. I said to Tony, if you do, you should be the person that comes on and say, hey kids, check this out. I made a mistake. I spoke to somebody words that I probably shouldn't have said, and be careful. Use your words wisely.
Yes.
You know, because that's like that. When you tell somebody after what Mike did, like you gotta understand, H-Street video. Mike probably between Mike and Schlossbach probably filmed the whole thing too.
Oh yeah.
And that's the timing, spending with everybody, all that. And if you're gonna turn around and tell somebody plan A and you got a plan B, and after all that work,
No, he lit a fire under him.
yeah. And I mean, look at what happened.
Instant,
Look
yeah.
at what happened. Like,
Totally.
and Mike, when he called me, I was so bummed. I was bummed. Why? I was under contract, so I couldn't go.
So he wanted you to go with him?
Yeah, but it was like Ron's under contract. And
How long were you under contract
Well,
for?
remember the contract that bounced.
That should have been voided.
Well, the checks that
Breach of
bounced were under
contract,
that
right?
contract, so I couldn't. And if I would have gone, and Tony could have sued Mike for stealing his rider.
Okay. But were you guys? So you guys were doing Life. Were you guys bummed that you guys were being associated with H Street? Is that
Kind of just more like we just had a different. You know, like you guys, we just love different things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We were just into skating, into Sheffey, into just like New York, and like just that whole world of like street skating was coming, and like I could see it. Life was going to be a street skate company. It wasn't. We were going to have one Burt guy, Dave Donaldson. That's it. And I knew it. I was like, because we're a fucking street company, and which is weird because back then everyone was afraid to be a street company, and I'm like, no, we are a street company. Which was like tough,
Yeah, that's
because
a
you're making
crossover.
yeah, and that's when the real like the vert guys. I felt bad for them, man, because it just came like a tidal wave, like a tsunami, and it was over. And before they knew it, it was over.
some of them could make the street cab? Some people could make the
Yes,
transition. A lot
yes.
of people didn't.
And why they couldn't is because when they were in the vert, they were treated like this is going to be forever. So why would I want to go do something else? You see what I'm saying? Like you could
Overnight, it was almost.
Oh my God! Yeah,
Crazy.
Yeah. Well, and Vert had its 10 dudes, and then there's.
But I love it because even behind the scenes, though, those vert dudes were still skating vert.
Yes.
They were still doing it,
Yes.
even though that it was done.
Yes, they're
right?
like Vert's dead. I'm still ripping.
Yeah. Yeah. But let me get this straight.
Big up
though.
to Ray Fennessy.
When Ternasky called you and said, I'm going to go to Plan B. I'm going to do this thing over here. What was were you just like, life is done, I'm going to go move on? Like, what was because you ended up going to Deluxe and started
bummed.
Fun.
I was like bummed because I was like, Mike, I want to go. He's like, you're under contract. And I was like, so I have to stay? I go, I don't really know Tony that well. You were the one, I dealt with you. I didn't
Right.
deal with Tony. And he's like, well, now you got to deal with Tony. And I'm like, he corny. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, no, like, you know what I mean? Like, just different dudes. We were different dudes at that time. Now, Tony Mack's I love that man. 30 years I've known him. He's a great man. He's done a great job. But at that time, we were like, who is this dude? Yeah. And you're leaving. And it was like me and Jesse and John and Donger at the trade show. And we were like, I remember we went to Dave Lively, who did Fat clothing down in San Diego. And we're like, he's like, y'all are bummed. We're like, yeah.
You can tell?
Yeah. Y'all, they're not going to do Fun, like, not going to do Life anymore. And John Reeves goes, man, if I had a company, I'd just call it Fun.
That was it.
What? And he goes, period. And I went, F-U-N, period. Sounds like a name to us.
It does.
That's amazing.
And I go, how about we call it Fun, but the acronym, follow under no one. And he was like, I love it even more. And then, so Fun came.
Did Ternasky take Sheffey with him?
Sheffey, Hensley.
Like immediately, yeah.
Rick Howard.
Carol.
Carol.
Well,
like,
no, for sure. It was
he took everybody.
Wow.
He took the whole kit and caboodle.
I love
He took
that.
the whole KITNKABOODLE and the man. I was
Somebody
like,
check that. Is that the right spelling? That's crazy.
I was crying. I was
Sounded
like,
tight, though.
where's everybody going? Like, it was like, Mike, you're going to take them on. Mike was mad, dude. Like, that's one of them things, man.
Right, you gotta
This is
watch
why
out.
I love skateboarders. This is why I love skateboarders. You can piss a skateboarder off and walk out the room, and you never know what's gonna come in when you come back in. Like he might start a company, he might leave. You never know. Like, we are such catalysts. Like, we're catalysts.
Yeah.
We just know that you got to do something different.
Did you go to Deluxe right after that trade show that you guys were at? Did you go and
Well, first we went into the trade show as we were Life, and then we
Yeah.
went into the trade show as Fun.
Wow.
And Dave Lively showed us how to make business cards.
Wait a minute. In the same trade show,
Yeah,
you went
that's
in
amazing.
as Life and came out Fun.
Yeah.
How did that work? Did you
Well-
go to Tony Mag and be like, yo, listen, we're done.
Yeah,
This
here's
is it.
our new business cards.
Seriously?
They have Fun, F-U-N on them. Here's
And
our
where would
shirts.
wait, how do you even, is Deluxe even in the picture right now
Deluxe
or no?
is not even in the picture.
You just said, hey, this is it. We're
We're
done.
doing our thing. I appreciate what you guys did for us. Thank you. We're going to go
Okay.
do our own thing.
Yeah.
I'm
You
like,
gave Tony Manic a business card?
yeah, because Dave Lively showed us how to make them.
good.
Dave Lively showed us how to make them that
Okay.
night, and he showed us how to screen a shirt.
Sure.
And he showed us how to, like, so we make business cards, had our screen shirts.
On your departure, like,
Yeah, here's a news. Here's a way to get a hold of me.
Wait, so you made the logo right then,
Yeah.
screen shirts,
Yes.
got business cards.
And then went to the trade show, passing our business cards with our new shirts. We're Fun now. We were Life, now we're Fun.
Damn.
The best thing ever. I swear.
And so it's you, John the Man?
John the Man Reeves and Jesse. And here's the craziest part.
Jesse who?
Jesse Newhouse.
Okay.
John Donger.
Donger.
Keanu Liu.
Yeah.
One of the most professional dudes I've ever met in my life. He was like, I want to do this with you guys. Then he kind of had second thoughts. Like, he's like, So what he did, called the wood shop and told him not to order his board, not to make it. And he like, I'm going to go with somebody else. Okay. But I made sure I took care of everything for you guys so that you don't have to like pay for what.
Damn.
I was like, you are a pro, dude.
Oh, where did he go?
He went to Invisible.
Oh.
Roger, Invisible.
Yep.
Yeah. See?
Okay.
See, I don't know all these things, Roger. I got to check with you. But that was rad because he went and did his own thing. And enough respect to Donger, man.
Shout out. Look at Donger.
Oh my
Dude.
God. So,
Huge as ollies, man.
Just
John Reed
so.
was the invisible.
Yes.
Yeah.
John, man, that's another.
Dongan went to Maple.
Oh,
That's what it
okay.
was.
Yes,
That's right.
okay.
That's right.
And John, when we were on tour with John, John was awesome. Like, we just had, I've seen him when I was playing New York, and I'd play Max Fishes, and he would open for me.
Oh, sick.
So rad. It's like, John.
Dude, John the Man Reeves.
What's he up to right now?
He's last thing he was teaching skateboarding in Long Island, and living out there and skating.
amazing.
Kickflip indie grab over a
On the
trash
trash
can.
can.
Wow,
Standing
that
up.
was insane,
Oh my
dude.
God.
Kickflip
Yeah,
tail grab.
Like,
What? Dude, I swear, every day there would be somebody did something new. I remember being like, I gotta get something new, man. Wow. Ready for H-Street was hard.
Okay, so you guys, you're at the trade show. Fun. You're giving people your business cards
Business
already.
cards,
Everything's going
t-shirts.
good. Now, how does Deluxe get involved?
Well, so I came back from trade show.
Which trade shows in San Diego?
Yeah, and we're
ASR.
and I'm driving with Jesse Newhouse, and Jesse's like, man, I can't wait to get back home. Graphics and everything, and I'm like,
You guys are pumped.
I'm like, I can't wait for this man to fall asleep because I'm tripping so hard. I got to run this company. I don't know what I'm doing. Jesse, fall asleep, man. Just fall asleep. Since you fall asleep, I can just be like, what do I do?
But you've already had experience with the
but now it's all me. Now,
you had Mike there before, right?
I had Mike and Tony. And now all of a sudden, it's like now Fun is at Ron Allen's house, 488 Alcatraz. It's time to go. Let's go. It's your company now.
Okay.
Make your board decisions. Who's going to ride for you? Who's your graphics? And it just was like, wow, this is... And Deluxe, so I talked to Fausto, rest in peace. And Fausto was like, he said, oh, so you think it's going to go back to those H-Street days of 1,000 pallets of boards and stuff, huh? And I went, I don't think so. I think it's going to be smaller runs, about, 400, 500 maybe a board per rider. And if he does well, then you'd order another one. But I don't think you'd go 1,000 boards. And he goes, yeah, that's why you're getting a chance to do this. I said, why? He goes, if you would have come in this office talking like the way you were, H-Street days, he goes, I'd have been like, I don't want to mess with you. And I was like, I feel you. But the skateboarding was changing. We were kind of smaller runs. Sure. You didn't need to be making 1,000 boards because you might not sell through them and the shop might get them. So you had to be you had to be a little bit, be thrifty.
So you hadn't even started it and you went to meet with Fausto. You were
and then he said,
I need somebody to help me do
right,
this.
And Fausto was like, he's like, you need to go talk to Tommy and Jim and Jeff and see if it's cool with them.
Okay.
And then this is, okay, you guys, I got another story. Okay. So when you're done with skateboarding, it's all over. You get checks or whatever. H Street owed me some money, probably about like $8,000, right? So I was like, yo, need my money, man. So they're like, we got you. And I said, oh, okay, so you guys send a check? They're like, no. So the UPS man pulls up. And he's like, he's got a trailer on his UPS. I'm like, what's with the trailer, dude? He goes, that's all you. I said, what? He said, that's all you. I live in a studio apartment about as big as this set here. We start bringing boxes in. When we finished, they were 3 high to the ceiling almost. And we had to make trails to the bathroom, to the kitchen, and to the room. They sent me $8,000 in T-shirts.
Oh, my God.
What brand?
Blank. White. That's what I wanted.
Blank white t-shirts.
Yeah, I need blank white, blank long sleeve, blank short sleeve. They're like, why? I said, if you're going to pay me, that's what I want. I don't want no logos.
So you get to choose.
You knew this was coming.
Yeah, well, no, they were like, we don't have the money.
Right.
And like, I went, okay, well, I'll take T-shirts then. And, 8,000 in T-shirts.
Because they had that at the warehouse.
Yeah, they had product. They just didn't have money. So I'm like, all right, I'll take 8,000 in T-shirts. So I took the 8,000, went to Deluxe. Yo, I got 8,000 T-shirts. Let's make a board. Like, let's do this. You know what I mean? I got a little handle. And then it was funny because we would wear the shirts that I got for payment. It's like the long sleeve Bud shirts. It was hilarious to be like, oh my God, like you guys gave me $8,000 in shirts. First time I ever heard my UPS man cuss. He's like, you better fucking help me, man. Because he was like, he had to carry, like, I was on the second floor, so we had to carry him up with me. I felt so bad for homie, man. I'm like, I'm sorry, dog.
When you went to go meet Jim Thiebaud, Tommy Guerrero, Jeff Clint, how did that go?
They were my friends. So they were like,
psyched?
They were like so like, I was afraid of them because they had been doing it.
Yeah.
And like one time they called me up and they're like, Ron, what are you doing tonight? I'm like, just sitting here. They're like, just come down, come. We have a big order and we got to send it out. Can you come box some boxes for us? And I'm like, oh yeah, sure. Get some pizza. So this is like early days.
Yeah.
Like early. Joey Trichet was in the warehouse for packing boxes. So then I helped them out, and I was like, wow, they're really doing it. And then it was like they were really doing it. And so when I showed up down there, I didn't know anything about budgets. I didn't know anything about any of the stuff that they were. And so Kurt DeWald, who was their accountant, pulled me aside and was like, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to hook you up. And so because I was Mr. Giveaway. I give away. I'd be like, here you go. You want some of that? Yeah, you want some of that? Here you go. And then one day I went to Deluxe and they're like, you made $3,032. And you gave away $3,000. Here's your $32 check.
Oh,
I went. He goes, you know, Ron, you realize that if you didn't give away 3,000, you made 3,000.
Right.
Like, but you gave away 3,000. I'm like, oh.
Smart
He goes, he's like, you know what? We're gonna work on budgets. We're gonna start with like a $700 budget with you, and and it worked. then Fun started making money. And I was the whole time I thought, this ain't making no money. I'm just giving away shirts. And then it was like, yeah, Ron, you're giving too much of the product away. Sell the product. And then from that, you'll get revenue. And it was kind of an eye opener. Like, Ron, don't give everything away. I know it's great for promo, but you got to sell, and that was like a real eye opener with a couple of companies I had. Like, it was like, but Deluxe was the one who really showed me, like, like, you get a budget. And then when you have a budget, like, you're $700. I just tell guys, I'll give you what you need. And if we're past those times, I can always hook you up. I'm not going to be stringent to it. Like, oh, no way. But it never. Those guys
you try to abide by the
I was lucky.
Yeah,
I got good guys. I've always had lucky. My choices in skateboarding. Oh, I've been lucky. I've been so like Life, Jesse, John, Donger.
Oh my gosh.
Woo, and then like Fun, and then like it's like we were talking about Walker, and like all the people that I've had a chance. Sheffey. I'm like, I've got a pretty good little record of sponsoring people, but it's all because I this is the funniest thing. Every one of those guys does one thing. And you guys are gonna think I'm weird for this. Every one of those guys, when they're staying at your house, would call their mom, and I always thought that was so dope. Like I was like, a lot of guys would come to stay at my house and would have no connection with their parents, and I thought that was a little weird. Like you're here, you're traveling, you don't call your mom. Like I'd be calling my mom, my dad, hey, I'm good, And I would watch people, like, they would be at my house, they'd get on the phone, they call their mom. I watched Hup, I watched Shep, I watched them all. And, like, their relationship with their mom and how they talked to their mom and how they were so respectful. I was like, these guys are good dudes. Yeah. These guys are good dudes. Like, I know it's weird, like, but it's I look at how guys, I would look at how a guy would treat his mom, because that's the most respected person in his life. And if he's treating her dope, he gonna treat me cool.
Sure.
Because I ain't his mom. He didn't come out my vaginal, but at the end of the day, I'm doing something for him. You know what I mean?
Sure,
you want to make sure that you have that kind of relationship with people.
For sure. Did you, no, it's good. It's actually a really good,
I have such weird skateboard things like that where I just, as a skateboarder, I don't want to be fucked up to a skateboarder.
Yeah.
And I always say this to, like, I wonder, like, guys who have, like, a guy told me, I was at Emeryville Park. And a guy told me a story that he was like riding for somebody, and he called the company to see if he could like maybe just get a board like mailed to his house because like the guy hadn't sent him or something. And the guy he talked to said, "You're not on this list. You're not part of this. Don't ever call back here." Yeah, and I'm listening to him. And then after he gets done, he says, I said, "Damn, dude, that's fucked up, man." He's like, "Yeah, it really bummed me out. I was a 19-year-old kid, didn't know what to do." And then I skated home. I'm skating home, and I just start crying, man. I'm just crying, and he's like, I see him the next day, and I say, "Man, that made me cry, dude. Like that story." And he said, "Why did it make you cry?" And I said, "Because, in the end of the day, all we are skateboarders. That's all we do. So if you want to be mean to somebody, like you ride a skateboard. Are you stupid? Like that's karma. Like you can't if you're gonna be mean to somebody, you ride a skateboard that could fall out from underneath you any minute." So why be mean to somebody? Why be fucked up to somebody? That's gonna come back to you. And I said to the guy that he said it to, I said, one day a lot of people have kids, and so one day that man's gonna have a kid, and his kid's gonna come home and tell him that story, and he's gonna remember you because that's the thing he said to you. And so when people have kids, sometimes my mom used to say that when you have a kid, sometimes that shit comes back on that kid. Because you're being that way. And skateboarders have, like, this is what kind of is the problem, I think, sometimes in skateboarding. It's like, how would you want to be treated? Like, how would you want to be treated? Because some people treat people messed up in skateboarding. Sure. And I've been part of it. I've seen it. I've been on both sides. I've been the owner, and then I've been the rider. And as the owner, I check myself sometimes, like, you're mad, but you're like, this ain't, you mad at some other business stuff, and it ain't got nothing to do with the riders.
Gotta pull back a little bit.
Yeah, because the riders are the ones, they're like special. They're very special. And I think the skateboarding has lost that specialty from riders. It needs to recognize when you put a certain amount of dudes on your team and women, when you put a certain amount of dudes on your team with women, what you're saying to them is, I believe in you. And most of us as skateboarders didn't have a lot of people believe in us. So when you make that call, you got to stand strong, because a lot of them now looking at you like, you just told me you believed in me. No one's ever told me that. So I need to really make sure that I'm on point. But like, because my friend Ray was talking about last night, he says, Mike Ternasky was filming me doing this manual around this corner. And he was just breaking it down. And he was like, I thought I did it right 15 times. And he was like, no, your tail touched. No, your hands were in the wrong position. No, you did that. And I was like, leave me alone. I could do this without you being there. And he's like, no, I'm here. I'm not telling you you're doing it wrong. I'm telling you how it looks when it looks right. And I went, oh, okay, Mike. Because I thought you were kind of like criticizing me. And he's like, no, I want to see the best out of you.
Right.
So if I can help you look best, then I'm doing my job. And I'm like, whoa, team managers don't talk that way. Team managers aren't like that. Some are maybe, but the ones that I've been around have always been like, I'll get you your boards and stuff, and yeah, don't call me on Fridays. You know what I mean? Like it's like a real. So there's like we've forgotten how good of people we were to each other.
Right,
because you look at Girl Chocolate, I look at that whole world and go, you guys don't know how many motherfuckers won't be part of that. I swear to God, like all of us, like everyone who wants to be a part of Girl Chocolate.
Right.
Dopest company. Why? Because it looks fun.
Right.
From a distance, from looking outside in, it looks like you guys are having a blast. Everyone's enjoying it. No one's sitting on the side, corner kid up. You know what I mean? Like it's like it. And I think sometimes we have to remember our marketing. We market that to people. Hey, it's fun. Come on. And then when they get on, it's like, well, it's not so fun. Because I used to make fun of people like that. I said, like, hey, that kid's 16. When you take him on tour, remember he's 16. What are you talking about, Ron? Yeah, because sometimes on tour we get to the bar and we're 21. But the 16-year-old, he ain't a man. He should be back at the hotel, maybe with some sodas, and doing his thing. And we bring him to the bar. No, don't do that, because he skates like a man, rips, but he's still a kid.
Yeah.
And then that's what I've seen a lot. Like people skate like a man, but they're a kid. So let's treat them like kids, respect them. And then as they get older, then we can have beers with them when they're 21 and all that. But like sometimes people forget that.
Sure.
And I had Brad Stauber reminded me of that every day. Because he would come over to my house and just be like, I'm like, the 13-year-old's on the way. Put away the beers. Like, here he comes. Put the weed away. Get everything. And then he made fun of us. He's like, your house smelled like Lysol and weed, and you all had wet spots around yourselves. And I go, wet spots? And he goes, yeah, well, you took the beer, and the wet spot of the beer was there. And I'm, Brad, you're so like aware of that. I love Brad for that, though. He opened my eyes to that. You know, like we have to be more like when we were taking him around and getting him education from doing the schoolwork and stuff. It's like, I never thought I'd be doing that as a skateboard company owner. I thought I'd be like, let's go get it, skate, and then we go on to the next one. So much of it was, I remember one day I was like, we're gonna go to the museum today. I'm like, what? Come on, we've been skate. Today we are going to the museum. We need to go be like tourists. Like we've been on this road trip. We're so existential out. It's all skating, blah, blah, blah. It's like, all right, let's just go to the museum today. People are like, damn, Ron, you're weird. And I'm like, no, we gotta break off from that. Because we were just deep in,
Yeah.
And sometimes it just gets to the point where you're just so deep in, you forget that, hey, we do this for fun. Like
it's like a quick reset.
Like my friend Tanner, who filmed me for the Krooked video, he said, Ron, you learned the old school way. I said, what's the old school way? You had fun with your boys. That's the old school way. What's the new school way? He goes, you see it. He goes, it's kick flip in, kick flip out. It's this. And I said, kick flip in, kick flip out, dope as long as you got style. Mm-hmm. It's like it's like this. Tricks are dope as long as you have style. And I don't care what trick it is, but a lot of like that's getting lost too a little bit in skateboarding. Sure. And it's like pay homage to the style people, because like Jay Adams, man. That nigga was styly. Like you know what I mean? Like Freddie DeSoto, style. Like these guys like they go back as vert skaters, some of the best style I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. And then when you look at street, then you look at like a person like okay, Chris Hall. Okay? Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Super dope.
Like,
and he's taller.
Big guy, tray flip, man. He, just like handling his shit. I just listened to his song the other night. Like I was like, oh my God, I'm listening to Chris Hall's New Deal song. It was rad. Like,
did he say? Wait, did
that
he have
useless
that?
wooden toys? Is
yes.
that? Yeah.
And it's all like, it sounds like a crazy guitar. It's like brown, and it's such a great song. And like, I was like, I never would listen to that, but I hear that song and I immediately think Chris Hall.
Right. Sure.
And how many of those? How many songs do you hear that you go, that's somebody's part?
I just mentioned it earlier. It's like the Sean Sheffey Life song.
Oh my God. And he had 2 songs.
Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Good, Bad, and the
Yeah.
Ugly. And then he had Boy King.
Yeah.
He's just a boy.
Right.
I wrote that song for him. Like, I wrote a song for Sheffey, and it was like, he's so big, and he's just a boy. Like, you know, like I would say, he's just a boy. Because he's so, like...
Well, how old was he in life? He was like 16?
16.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like when he was
looked like a man.
Yes, and he was like a Golden Gloves fighter, and then when he was like 14 or something.
Damn.
Is it when he had Ollie's over to the kid in the?
That's his son.
He was 16 when he
Not
had.
there.
No,
not
that was
there.
Plan B.
That was Plan B. So
Okay,
he's like a little bit older. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
He's
was
probably like 21.
22.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember. Oh man, I will never use names because I don't want to talk shit. But I remember one time being in a hotel and a dude is sitting at the sink and he's like washing out a condom, and I walk over to him and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "I said, you know those motherfuckers are signal use."
Oh,
He was watching out to use it again.
Passing around.
But that's the kind of stuff on tour. On tour, you see, and you're just like, whoa, like no, like
soap
Yeah,
in there.
yeah,
soap.
like, whoa, like, you know,
washing it
yeah,
out.
like whoa, dude, like, and you're just like, dude, no, don't do it. Like, oh my
I'll
god,
get you another one,
I'll
dude.
get you
Fine.
another one. Oh my god.
Not to change the subject here, but I'm so interested because like when you guys went and you formed Fun, you were in Deluxe and everything. What eventually happened to Fun?
Well, Fun, as it
How
got,
many years did it last?
Fun started around 96 or 95 and went to 96.
That's
one
it?
year, maybe 2, maybe.
Okay, what
But-
happened?
Basically, America, like, we had good riders. Everything was working fine.
Sure,
But, like,
great distribution.
Ali Asha had, like, you know, Ali Asha wasn't a great artist, first off. Amazing artist. And his, like, he kind of came from working with Russell Simmons doing Fat Farm. So he had done all the designs for Fat Farm. So when he came into Deluxe, he was kind of like, I don't know about this. Like, I'm cool, I'll be cool, but I'm working with Russell Simmons.
Why was he coming into the Deluxe?
Because I was like, we gotta
a
make
dream.
this company. We gotta make this company. And then we started doing stuff with Wayne at Slap, and they were like, you guys got to come over to the office and do more stuff because we were like sort of doing our own thing, but we were doing our own thing. Like, you know, we had a board with 2 buildings on it, and they were like, we had flame, like you had like a comic book fire. So it's like a yellow or an orange and then a red around it, and it's like blowing up spots.
Okay.
And then, because right then the Sheik had just blown up the World Trade Center basement, so we were like blowing up spots. And we had the World Trade Center on a board blowing up.
This is
That was the
before
first time.
9/11.
That was the first time.
Before 9/11.
That was the first time.
And they were like, "What?
Shit, this is a little too crazy for us.
Like, what, you guys?" And we're like, "And you think that's it? We got more." Like, he had an idea. He was going to get Biggie Smalls and get Grand Poobah and Harold to come together and put on tennis stuff and shoot a photo of those guys playing dice against a tennis net. I'll never forget. I was like, oh, dude.
That
if
was Ali Asha's idea?
Yeah. I go, Ali, if we do that, they'll fire us. Like, because they were like, what does that have to do with skateboarding? We're like, well, a lot of people at skateboarding play dice. And
Wait a minute. So this was Fun, or this was the
this was Fun turning
Fun.
into American Dream, and then American Dream. And so Fun, like,
excuse me for interrupting. I just want to get everything straight. So it was American Dream was not a part of Deluxe, or that was
it was 95,
Okay.
96. It was like part of Deluxe.
So Fun was just done.
And Fun had come into Deluxe, and they just, my numbers were low, and like I had like, my numbers weren't selling as much as they were. Like John wanted to go do things. Jesse kind of wanted to start his own company, and I had like Johnny Fonseca and Brad Staba, so they were super stoked because they could go on tour. I think Travis McLaughlin was there on that team too.
Okay.
So, but it just didn't generate enough numbers for Deluxe to keep it going, and so they were like, you need to come up with another idea, and then that's when.
So they were super down to.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you were going to stay in the
They always
building.
did, but-
Ali Asha comes in, and American Dream is
It's
born.
going, yeah.
Okay. How did American Dream go?
started killing it, and that's when I fucked up.
What did you do?
I went on tour. We had a contest with Mickey Race. Who can make the most tours? Who can get up with the most tours? So I just said, every time he'd say, how many did you go? 10. How many did you go? 10. And then finally, how many did you do? And I go, 48.
Wait.
What?
So
In a year?
in a month.
No. You can't. It's
In 2 months,
Okay.
I went on 48 city tour. People got broke off and were literally on the tour still going. Like, you got broke off on the tour, you got healed, and you went back and
Who's
skated.
setting this tour up? You?
Me. I would call all the shops. I would drive everybody. I would get there, and like Mickey had 20. Was like, I got 20, and I was like, and I go, I got 48, and Mickey starts laughing, and I'm like, I won, and he goes, you won, but you lost because you got to go on it.
But is Mickey doing like? But Mickey's doing real tours.
Yeah, he's the team manager for real.
Yeah.
So he's like, you got 48, now you got to go. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, I got to go to these 48 places. Oh, my God. Dude, I was like, my cat didn't even recognize me when I came home. My cat was like, I was like, yo, kitty. He's like, I don't even know. This one person feeding me now. I don't know you. I'm like, what, dude? It was crazy.
So what happened then? So did you go on this?
I went on the tour, and Mickey was laughing the whole time. He's like,
these excuse me, these tours cost money.
oh my God, they do. So okay, I had the skill to do this. Powell and Santa Cruz and everybody else would charge like $2,500. Oh my God, you want us $25? And I'd be like, we'll show up for $5. And they're like, really?
Who?
Like,
Who are they charging?
so
Skate
like,
shops?
Yeah,
Skate shop back then.
Yeah,
They paid for-
So
paid for the
I said
demos.
me, Keenan, and Huff, and maybe like somebody else will show up for $5, right? And then like, yeah, $500, come on, right? So then what I would do is first demo 500, second demo 500, third demo 500. Now I'm up 1,500.
Okay.
Third demo, fourth demo 2G.
You got to pay for gas,
Right,
hotels.
so you're doing gas and everything, but then you're also having this little side that's coming up, and then your riders are like, you're taking care of your riders, making sure everything's good, and then you have enough so that last date of tour, so you do the last date, and then you go stay, because you've done all these $500, you go stay in the sickest place, like where it's everyone's getting their own self-made pizzas, watching movies, hanging out, and you're just like, is everyone good? And like, yeah, and then you go try to find some chick at the bar, and you're good to go. You know what I mean? But you just take care of your guys like that, and it was like, instead of charging $2,500, you charge $5. You go there and do your job, handle, talk to kids, skate, pass out stickers, go to the next place, and everyone's so burnt and tired. No one's tripping. You go and have barbecues at people's houses and stuff, and it just becomes like, all of a sudden you're like, wow, like we're up now. Like people are like, how much money do we got now? I'm like, we're up 4,000. It's like, oh, because of all the different, 48 demos. By about the middle of it, we were rich.
What happened to American Dream? I personally, I don't remember American Dream. I know Fun, but I wasn't.
Well,
American Dream wasn't on my radar. For
American
some reason.
Dream was like Herald. We had some we did the Herald. We did the Herald board with Dirty Old Bastard.
Oh shit!
We had
okay.
Jamal Williams, but then like they all were they were all these friends. Mike Hernandez came from, and then they just. He had
These
such
were
a
East Coast dudes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, maybe if I'm wrong here. Was this American Dream Unit, or is that?
No,
That was second.
after it left Deluxe, it became American Dream Unit.
Okay,
because Spencer and Alyosha took it down to San Diego, right, Roger?
I thought it was
Well,
the guy in Ohio.
80. Oh no, that
Strength.
was Rob Owens.
No.
I'm so confused.
Sorry, I just want to. Because I remember hearing American
Christian
Dream, but I
Strength.
knew it was American Dream Unit.
Oh, because no, after American Dream ended with Deluxe, Alyosha, Spencer Fujimoto, and some other dudes took it down to San Diego, and that's where they made ADI Unit. And I wasn't part of
okay.
that. I was like,
Step Brother Distribution.
yeah, I'm trying to think who they did that with. Yeah, I was out of it at that point. I don't even know what I was doing.
What would you do? Yeah, I mean, you were just saying you were killing it with American Dream over in Deluxe.
But see,
and
okay,
then-
but here's what happened with me.
you said you fucked
So
up.
I fucked up. But
Yeah.
I love fucking up, because when you fuck up and you're man enough to admit it, feels good.
Well, and you learned something.
So I went on tour and I realized that we were killing it. American Dream was killing it. But Deluxe, they're our distributor.
Yeah.
And they have to kill it, not us. And their boards at that time weren't selling like American Dreams were selling. So like people wanted 10 boards of American Dream. But Deluxe would say, we'll send you 7, we'll send you a stereo, a reel.
They're trying to
another
get their
board.
shit in there
Trying
too.
to get our
Yeah.
boards in there too,
Right.
which is legitimately right.
Totally.
But for me, I didn't understand that. I'm very biased. So I'm like, yo, they want 10 boards. You give them 10 boards. So I came home and wrote this letter to those guys like, hey, man, I realize that my distributions, you guys are sticking your orders into my shit, and motherfuckers want my shit. See, that's some Wu-Tang shit. My shit. And then it's
Yeah.
like, it
And
ain't
they're
your
like,
shit.
yep.
It's Deluxe's shit. You under a distributor. It ain't your shit.
So
You
they
don't own
didn't
it?
like that.
No, I don't blame them. I'd have been pissed too. I'm pissed now. No, no, but you know how skateboarders are. You know this, guys. You know this. Like you're like, I want to do my own thing.
But nobody sat down and explained to you, like, listen, this is how it is.
No, they
Must have
did.
been after the fact.
But you just didn't. You just, you like with them, they were like, when like, God.
They're all young,
When
too,
when it's all
right?
said and done.
Yeah,
when
go
it's all
ahead,
said
go
and done.
Go ahead.
I'm like, that's where I fucked up because when they finished the company, I turned to them like I was so hoodied at that point. Like I had reached the point of hoodiness, and I was like, y'all don't need to worry about me. I'll rob your houses. Like, and they were like, oh, like, okay, bro. I'm like, oh shit. But I'm like, y'all don't know what it's like being out in these streets. And it's hard out here, and y'all are up in these offices making decisions about people in the street. Y'all don't realize how tough it is out here in the street trying to ride these boards and trying to make a living. And so, and I think Deluxe was probably the closest to having a true understanding of it, but I was just, I was owning the company. I kind of had personal feelings. I wanted to see my guys do good. And I just screwed up because I really wanted to have them do, I had Huff and Keenan and I wanted them to do good.
Sure.
But in the end, they wound up doing good without me, which that felt good.
What did and Alyosha, he went to New York.
Oh, he was
in New York.
Yeah, now he's down in San Diego.
Now he's okay.
He's in San Diego now.
And that's and just an amazing artist and like an amazing
he's had his hand in a lot of things.
Oh my God. And then outside of that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh
Like,
yeah. 100%.
like I'll never forget it when I was like, are you on this album?
It was an American Dream ad with Harold Hunter.
Oh, yes. I go, are you on this album? And he's like, I go, you're on the Talib Kweli thing or whatever. And he goes, yeah, that's me. I'm like,
Wow.
Alyosha.
Wow.
Look at that.
Shout out to Alyosha.
Yeah, his
Real
name
talk,
comes up
bro.
quite often on the show.
Because you know what? Okay, I remember seeing Talib Kweli's podcast. Boom, there's Alyosha. He's talking to Alyosha. I'm like, what?
So sick.
My boy is blowing up talking to Talib. And I'm like, damn, like you just don't realize the people that you befriend, And to me, we got in an argument early on when we were doing American Dream, and he was the first person. He said to me, he's like, your car's a mess. I said, yeah, everybody knows that. Got burgers in the back and stuff. He goes, if your car's a mess, your life's a mess. What do you mean? Well, just think about it. And then I went home, cleaned my car. You know what I mean? Like he did things like that. Like he would say things that would, like Alyosha was rad because he would never tell you to do something. He would just
give you a hint.
give me like, what do you think?
It does make sense though.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
totally.
like it's like to me, I'm like one of those guys that just is like snap.
I feel, when my house is a mess, I feel like my life is a mess.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
There was a thing that says like if you have a problem with people, drink water. There's like if you have a problem with people, you should go outside. There's these different things, but it's kind of like my mom used to be about like that. Like when you hurt your knee, it's because your ego. Hurt your back because you're worrying about holding the world on your. Holding the world on your back. Back problems also come from worrying about paying money and paying bills. Like I can't pay my bills. Oh, my back
hurts all the time.
See, you must not. It's tough, but paying bills. It's like it's weird how our bodies really become connected to what we are in
Our worries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. Worry too much, hard to do. Like try to keep it happy. See, I'm on a whole love experiment. I just want to let y'all know. I'm on a love experiment. I've told people this. They think I'm crazy. I give myself love on everything I do, even if it's bad. Like if it's a horrible thing, and I'm like, oh my God, I love you, Ron. I love you, Ron. And why I say it to myself is because like sometimes when we're young, our parents treat us like they give us love. And so we're so used to it. We go to our parents, nudge up next to our parents. But when we get older, we who nurtures us as we get older?
Yeah.
We have to nurture ourselves as we get older. And so like for me, I remember skateboarding was really based on anger. I was angry. I skated. I was angry. And it worked. Then all of a sudden I wasn't angry anymore. And I was like, what's going on with my skateboarding? Like, I can't even land anything. Like, what's going on? And I was like, oh, I love you, Ron. And I said to myself one time, I was like, you're going to make this trick because you love yourself. And I went and made it.
There you go.
And I went, I went from being angry skating to now I give myself love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's, it's weird because anger used to motivate me. Like I'd be so, especially if you slammed, you'd be pissed. I'm gonna make it now. And now I'm like, we're gonna get it wrong. Like when I was filming my Krooked part, like the filmer Tanner was in rad. He's the most amazing kid. He was like, he's like, yo, Ron, just how about every day we just have a personal goal, we just get something. And I was like, what did you say? And he goes, no pressure. you don't have to film a whole part in a day. Just every day, let's just go get something cool. I was like, Tanner, what planet are you filming? Can
I
go
remember
over
as a
there?
kid, him as a kid, he was the same way.
Dude,
he was always
is-
just down to go out and try
He
to figure
is so.
something out.
I was like, dude, like seriously, bro, like where'd you come from? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I need like 10 of you. Like you are like that kid Tanner, and I say kid, he's a grown ass man, but his vibe to film was never, come on, man, get this shit.
Yeah.
It was always like, you got it, dude. Don't even worry.
Well, those are the best
Because he's a
filmers, yeah.
skateboarder. I'm sure he understands.
Yeah, well, and there was never any pressure to like, we gotta get this. We had a month, and I was like, bro, I don't know, man. Like,
Is that when you took the slam on the rail? Were you filming for that video?
no, I filmed that was another. I got really pissed at older guys. I kind of at my skate park. All these older guys were telling kids how they should be and what they should do and stuff. And I was like, man, we shouldn't say anything to these kids unless we can fucking do it ourselves, man. Like, I'm getting tired of trying to. You don't tell a kid what to do unless you can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and so I was like, that day, I'm like, I'm going to that handrail and I'm grinding that bitch, and then I'm gonna go back to everyone and be like, you need to shut up. You need to shut up. You need to shut up. And I didn't make it, so I couldn't do that after that.
Not only did you not make it, you went down like a sack of rocks, bro.
Dude, that went
that-
viral,
but
dude.
that is
Definitely did. That shook the industry a little bit.
Yeah, well, you know what? Because people were like, what's this 60-year-old man out here doing? Like,
No, and you popped right up. I was
yeah,
like,
I rolled, popped up, and was like, but I wasn't good, but I popped up. You know, 'cause
Gosh, you gotta
that's that
pull it
skateboard.
up.
That's that skateboarding in us all. You pop up, you're like, I'm
right there.
fucked, but I feel good. Like,
Yeah, so much adrenaline going through. You're just like, yep, yep,
yeah,
yep.
I popped up and got up and was like, man, that hurt. But
First
then
of all, wait, where is it? Is it in this edit or not?
No, I think it's a different one,
in
right?
that.
oh yeah, that's my
here.
falling down the rail, dude. Oh.
This it?
And
Slow-mo.
Hungry shot the photo, and Hungry laughed because he was like, I never seen anybody fall like this in my life.
Oh,
But here's the classic
Well, you
thing.
pop back up so quick and so you were.
Classic thing. So I'm getting dentist stuff done, and I go into the dentist, and the dentist says to me, he goes, so have you done anything that would loosen all your teeth?
No, you didn't. And you're like, well, as a matter of fact, check my Instagram.
It's like,
Look at this.
Oh, that'll definitely loosen some teeth.
Well, first of all, this was just what, a couple years ago?
Yeah,
This is
like last year.
You're so
Yeah, it's
60 years
recent.
old.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back.
You
Like,
are?
Yeah, we have a photo. If I go back and make it,
First of all,
we're gonna
I
run the
can't
photo.
even- I can't believe you're
Well, now,
trying it, bro.
but look at how
Like,
small what I'm getting on. It's curb height, so it's not like I'm jumping down the bigger part.
I get it.
And then you grind down. And what happened to me is like Dan Z came and he shaved my kingpins because my kingpin caught on the corner.
Yeah.
and that's what sent me flipping.
Right.
See, and so that's where I'm like, right there. I'm like, save your nuts. Like in my head, I'm like, save the nuts. So I went to one side and then flipped, and here's where I lost all my teeth, and then there it is, fucking made it. And then my friend Kofi goes, for the world. I'm like, no.
So when you pop back up there, did you try it again? Or no, you were done.
I was like, I'm
Teeth
hurt.
were loose, you're
Teeth
done, you're
loose.
done, yeah.
Back of my leg gone. Shoulder popped out.
But did you feel your
the
teeth
shoulder
loose?
popped out?
No, I didn't know.
The shoulder popped out?
Shoulder popped out and popped back in.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, I got this weird. I'm weird for injuries, you guys. I'm weird. Like some stuff I get broke off, and then it like comes back together.
So
I don't know why, but
Right.
I'm just gonna go with it. Like it's
did the teeth get healed up?
actually I got the fake ones now.
Okay.
And then I'm about for 150. I get a full grill pretty soon because when you're over 65 in America, you get free dental care. So I'm getting.
They're going to make you a grill for
I'm gonna,
free?
I'm gonna get real teeth again. It's gonna be dope, dude. I'm like, it's kind of dope. Like I'm like, wow, because the teeth thing is a really funny thing for me because I went on tour last year and the teeth were supposed to meet me at the first tour and didn't. So then it's like, I went to this place, the teeth didn't make it. Went to the next place, the teeth didn't make it. Went to the next, and so I'm going on stage with no teeth.
You're just gumming it.
Just my crazy hillbilly looking teeth, like what's going on, you know? And I tell you, it was the best thing ever. Humbling, it totally made me like like
self-conscious?
Yeah, well, just you have no choice. You're going up on stage and you're fucking playing, so get over your face. Yeah, like there's some gaps and shit missing. Get over it. Go do your shit.
Right.
I love that. That made me like wake up. Like whoa. Like but it was funny because I did like we were in Chicago and then we left Chicago to go to Detroit. The teeth show up in Chicago. I'm like, yeah, great for them. I ain't got them. So then we leave Detroit and we go to like Toledo. They show up in Detroit. I'm like, oh my God. Like, why don't we just stay here until the teeth come? We have to keep going because we have more gigs. And then finally show up. And this is what they said. When your teeth come and you put them on, sing your favorite songs to get used to having your teeth in. I'm going to go do a whole hour of singing my favorite songs.
Right. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
We got that figured out.
So when Alyosha, they go down to San Diego. They kind of take your. They took your company a little bit, right?
And if those guys, I have so much love and respect for them. So, and because Spencer, he started the American Dream, like Instagram so long ago, and then like literally like here, you can take it, Ron. You go do it.
Wait a minute. What year was this American Dream?
96 was when it ended. So 96, 95.
So it's interesting because Spencer Fujimoto was on.
Yeah, he was
on World for, and then he went to So
Spencer, Mike Hernandez, Jamal Williams.
Yeah. Okay.
Jimmy Chung.
Jimmy Chung. Yeah. Ripper.
Sick.
And
that was after the fact.
100%, right.
And just a great.
Sometimes the timelines I need to match them up in my head because I don't know where we're at sometimes.
You should see where I'm at, man. I'm still thinking it's 87.
Listen, we're gonna go to Pipeline after, or what is it called? Upland.
That's funny.
But so then what happens? Because you eventually form a new company.
So American Dream ends, and then I start Energy. But Energy started. There was a company called Heaters. There's a company called Heaters.
Heaters.
Oh my God, you guys. So my friend Quasi, so skateboarding has gone kind of crazy for me, and I'm working at a place in Berkeley called Urban Ore. It's a place where everybody in Berkeley with their used shit just brings and sells it to them, and so I'm working at Urban Ore, and my friend Quasi comes up and he's like, "Yo, dude, we're gonna start this company," and I'm like, "Skateboard company?" I go, "Quasi, you skate?" He goes, "Yeah, but I'm the promotion guy." I said, "Oh, so what are you gonna do?" He goes, "Well, we got these hip hop CDs," and I was like, "Sick." And he goes, "We don't know what to do with them." I'm like, "Why don't you put them on boards, man?" And he went, "What?" I said, "Yeah, if you got access to like, who is it?" He goes, "Well, we have like Dell, the Phony franchise, and then we have Mos Def, Umi Says." I said, "Let's put them on boards, dude, and sell them." And then he's like, "Well, what's the label going to say?" And I said, "Well, you realize that the label, the CDs are going to go to where the label, if an artist plays Chicago, he doesn't go to like the smaller places in Chicago. So that CD will get there. They'll have an opportunity." And so he was like, "Let's do it." So we got in touch with Raucous Records, and we were putting CDs on boards. It's called Heaters. We're making boards out of bareback. Fort Deluxe even had got to bareback. And I was like running this company with those guys. And we also had a bong company. And it was like we made metal bongs with glass bowls. And we had Stevie Williams and Mike York on our bong team. It was
running it like a skate team.
Yeah, and but it was the owner. The owner, fortunately, he didn't really know what was going on, and he got like right before the company started, he got hit in the head and was in a coma for like a couple months before the company.
What?
Heaters. But he had Heaters, and he brought me like Quasi and him owned it. Then they brought me in, and then I brought my people in.
Right.
And then when I brought my people in is when it got like oh God, this is gonna be crazy. And then
he was in a coma.
Yeah, like he got in a fight at a party and he got hit in the head. And it's like he was in a coma. But then the funniest thing is like I was at that time I was dating a woman named Magdalena, and she was like a sales guy. She wanted to be the salesperson, but there was already a sales guy there. His name was Doug, and they'd be like, "Doug called 10 shops today, yay!" And they'd be like all stoked, right? So Magdalena took it over one time, and they're like, "So Magdalena, how many shops did you call?" And she's like, "Oh, I did 200."
What?
And I was like, and they're like, "You what?" And she's like, "I did 200." And it's like, "Oh, Doug, your days are numbered."
Done. Doug's head is gone.
He's gone.
Doug is done.
And it was like, whoa. So me and like my girlfriend were working it, and then we went on tour, and we had like Jesse Hotchkiss had come and ride for us, and then we went on tour, and it all went. And we went on tour, and it all went bad.
Really?
And we were in Chicago, and the band blew up.
Okay.
And then I got the guys places to stay, but they weren't stoked at the places to stay, even though they I would have stayed there with the hot tub, but they weren't happy. I stayed on the floor of my friend's house, but that could have stayed at the hot tub house. So then we rented a car and drove back because the rod literally flew out the front of the van onto the freeway.
Oh,
so it was done. And like we walked back, we saw Michael Jordan. I remember that night we saw Michael Jordan in a fucking like a Testarossa or something. He pulled up to us and goes, "What's up?" And we're like, "Michael Jordan!" And then we were like walking to the train station like it sucks. And then we went back to Chicago. And we were in Chicago, and I told those guys, they go, "Oh, the Heaters guys back home went, we got a rider van that we're gonna drive the truck out and pick you guys up." I'm like, "No, we ain't looking like no illegal aliens in the back of a truck driving across the United States, bro. No. If you do that, I'm quitting." So they rented us a car, we drove home, and then I was like, "I can't do this, dude." Like, it's like, I can't do this, man. And
how old were you at this point?
I'm like 500 or something. And like it's like there's guys on the team that are like, they were like so bummed on me, and they were like, so this was, I won't use the guy's name, but I brought a guy in. I was like, "Come in, be part of the team." He goes to the owner, "Ron Allen shouldn't even have anything to do with this team. He doesn't know what he's doing." I'm like, "I brought you in, kid. I brought you in, and you're gonna do this?" So who I call? Yo, York. Yo, how do I get rid of this dude? York. I love Mike York for that. You tell him he's too good. Like, you guys, you tell him he's too good. He needs to be on Grilled Chocolate. He needs to come for Grilled Chocolate. I was like, "I love you, Mike. You're the best."
Wow.
Like, and that's how, and like,
you told him.
Yeah, totally. I said, you're too good. You need what you want from us. We're a small company. We're trying to come up. We're trying to get there. You need to go to Grilled Chocolate. They're already there.
Go see if you can do that.
Yeah. And I mean, I can talk about skateboarding in such a happy way because I'm happy. But I see a lot of people go behind the back and do things behind my back. And I'm always like this. I got love for those people. You know why? Because, that shows you, like, skateboarding. Like, I'll never forget it. John Reeves one time, we're on the car driving on tour, and everyone is just pontificating on how sick this graphic is, right? Somebody's graphic. Everyone's like, "It's fucking sick, bro. Fuck yeah, right?" And then John Reeves like, "I think it sucks." Just the way he said it, too. It was like, everyone's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I think it sucks." And I went, whoa, like, what? Somebody has a second opinion? Another opinion than ours? And he was like, "You guys are getting so hyped. I just didn't want to, like, blow you up, but, like, I didn't think it looked good at all." And I was like, "Reeves, I love you, dude, because you're the only dude that, like, you went adverse to it.
Yeah.
We need that."
Right.
And he was like, "I just didn't see it." I'm like, damn, that's like, skateboard, like, we got to be careful. That conformity can get you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Everyone's like,
sure.
It's tight. No, it ain't.
No, real shit.
Damn
like,
true.
it's like, and it's
I
like,
agree.
and that's like, but I think that is like, companies have gone through that.
Yeah,
companies have gone like, corny. Don't be corny. Think about what you're doing.
Sure.
Because at the end, it represents you anyway.
Oh yeah,
You know?
100%,
For sure.
100%. Now, so when you, what did you just leave that company? What
Well, yeah,
happened?
I just kind of was like, I think we're gonna do something else.
Well, it sounded like you were over it. It sounded like you were tired. You couldn't do this shit. You're on tour.
Bands breaking down.
Yeah. it's
Oh
just
no,
like-
and everyone wants to pay you in weed. Everybody wants to pay you in weed. I swear to God, man, if this world was made out of weed, I'd be rich. Here you go. You want some weed? You want some weed? Here's some weed. It's like, can I have some money?
So the $500 per. The $500 per stop turned into just, hey, here's a
sack.
20 bag of weed.
No, it's like it's a half pound or something, but you're still
Jesus
like,
Christ.
but I mean, it's like you're like
Turning into like a drug
Yeah,
cartel.
you're like, like I'm skating here. I'm not the fucking dispensary.
Yeah,
you know what I
I'm
mean?
not gonna, where am I? Am I supposed to sell this now? Like, what do you want me to do?
And it's happened in so many different companies. Like, "Oh, Ron, we're getting ready to go on tour. Go sell the weed." What? Why do I gotta sell the weed? Because you're the team manager. You need a new team manager then. Like, that's weird to me. Like, but I've seen it like that where skateboarding, like when my early days, it was really like serious. H-Street, life, fun, and then after that, it just got crazy. Like, you had Heaters. You're like, whoa, Heaters. Wow.
Well, that was a kind of a weird company.
It was just,
right?
but it was
Yeah,
just
that was
great
strange.
idea though. Put
Yeah,
CDs on boards and stuff, but just what I saw with people and how people acted, and how I came from guys like Huff and Keenan and Brad, and then all of a sudden I started seeing these skaters that were just like, you got like, wow, like you think about Ron Allen. He's been around Iris and those kids. He's been around Matt Hensley and those guys. I've never been around a non-motivated skater. I've always been around skaters that are like, we're fucking doing this. Sometimes to the point you're like, chill.
Yeah.
So being part of that was like, I'd never had skaters be like ill. before. Everyone was always happy. And I saw in that company people being ill. And then I saw things like this one dude, Dan Bolin. He was 18 and he drove the van the whole tour. I thought this dude was 35 years old. I thought the dude was 35. It's like, you got to be 35. You handled, like, driving the tour the whole time. And he's like, no, I'm 18, Ron. I'm like, you are 18 years old and you drove us around the country, bro. And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, give yourself a pat on the... Do you realize? We sat in that van comfortable enough to fall asleep because we knew you were driving.
Yeah, you had it.
Yes. And like when you, cheerleading thing, when I did the cheerleading thing, if you went on a road trip and you fell asleep in the passenger seat, they fired you. Because you're supposed to keep the driver away.
Oh, wow. There
See
you
what I'm
go.
saying?
There you go.
And there's things that I would say on my tour. It's like, hey, don't be sitting passenger seat sleeping. I'm driving. I'm tired. I look over at you. No. Get your ass in the back. Get somebody up here in front who can,
Plus, who's going to DJ?
It's so funny now.
DJ and the driver.
Well, now it's funny because me and Johnny used to be in the car together, and Johnny was sitting next to me, and now Johnny drives on the music tours, and I sit next to him, and I play the music.
Hey, there you go.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Right.
So you were done at that point.
Done. Heater's over.
Right.
I'm like, what am I gonna do? And then I get a call from Nick Matlin.
Okay.
Matlin's like, Fabrizio just left Creation, and you're getting a Satori wheel. Do you want to ride for Creation? I'm like, do I want to ride? Hell yeah, let's go. How much you gonna pay me? Let's go. And next thing you know, I'm on Creation, and I'm getting a Satori wheel.
How old were you? This was 2008.
Now I'm like, 2008. I'm like 38. Like, I went to visit Craig, and Craig was like, I was standing there getting wheels, and I said, Craig Najedli, who runs Satori.
Okay.
And I said, I'm a lot older. Just to let you know, I'm not trying to fool you on some young kid shit. He goes, how old are you, man? I go, 38. He pushes back from his desk, and he goes, respect. I went, I guess I'm cool.
Yeah.
And then, that was going with Satori and Creation. Next thing you know, you're out on tour, you're sleeping in the forest. Like, you're going in, like, it's like, this is a whole different world. I came from, like, wow, we're staying in the nice hotels and stuff. And next thing you know, I'm like, they're like, we're going camping. And I'm like, camping?
Did you like that?
At first, I wasn't sure if I liked it or not. And then the first day of camping, I heard, woof, woof, woof. And I was like, what the hell is that? Woof. And then I looked up, and it was an eagle flying through camp, and his wings were making that sound. And I was like, now I know why y'all want to do this camping thing. That's the dopest thing I've ever seen in my life. We looked at a mountain lion drinking from a lake, and we're like, the thing's tail was like 8 feet tall. It was the biggest mountain lion I've ever seen. I was like, oh my God, the biggest mountain lion I've ever seen in my life, dog. It was
weren't
like,
scared?
We were so far from it. But one morning I went with my girl, and we were walking Craig's dog named Olive, who was a real wolf, and she started freaking out, and then boom, mountain lion comes out of it's like mountain lion versus wolf, and me and my girl are in the middle. I'm like, no, come on, let's go back to the thing. That was the best part of Satori ever.
Wow.
Well, who else was on the team at that point for Creation?
Who was on Creation back then? Nate Porter was one of the guys. Nate was like Nate Porter.
Lucian Moon, was he on there?
He did Yellow though, which was a sick company. If you guys remember, I don't know if out of Satori, he had Satori and he had Creation, and then he had Yellow. And it was just yellow boards, go yellow. And that was run by Lucian Moon. Or he did some of that. Lucian did a lot of artwork for that. Cool. But like,
Matt Pales wrote for it.
Matt Pales. Yep. Matt Pales was the raddest because he was like a reclamation project. He was doing his dance hall and doing his thing. And Craig's like, I want you guys to go up to Sacramento and I want you to get Matt skating again. And we're like, all right. So we went up, and that man is he's a badass skater, and he's a dance hall lover. And like, they called me up and they're like, some girl came over looking for Matt, and she's throwing that key bags all over the place. The filmer and the other guy got stuck in his apartment while his ex-girl came or something. They were like, she's throwing bags of like, what's that stuff? The mate all over the house. Like, oh my God, dude. Like, yeah, but Matt, he came back. He ripped. He really did. He was like, he just he had kids, and he was dealing with some realities of like lives and stuff, and then dude ripped, I'm like, that was another person at Satori. Then we started kind of like not so good terms, and then in the end, it's like that's a total brethren. And like, amazing music, just like what he's done in his life. You know, it's a great guy. You know.
Did you feel better on a team and not have to worry about all the team manager stuff? Did it feel like a big weight?
Well, we had Matlin, and so when we went to Panama, we go to Panama, and Matlin's like, "I'm quitting," and we're like, "Huh? Why?" And he's like, "I can't work for Craig. I want to be on, you know." And we're just like, I remember you're in Panama, and you're on this great trip, you're excited, and then someone tells you, and all of us are just like.
He was there?
Yeah, he told, because he had to fly himself there or something. It was just a bad thing, you know. And like it was like Nick Mallon, best team manager ever. Honestly, like he would film with you. He would it just like I was with him for so many times. You know, we'd go to Tampa, we'd go to like Tampa Pro, we'd go on after Tampa, we'd go on tour, and he was always just handling it. You know what I mean? Like Nick was a great team manager. You know, great skater too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some footage here.
He was a team manager for Santa Cruz later too, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Santa Cruz and he always would push us. And like the rad thing about it is that it wasn't like a push like, oh, you guys got to rip. He'd rip. So you better rip. That's a team manager. You know what I mean?
There you
Like,
go. Right.
like it was rad. I love that about him.
Did you have to take on a team manager role after that? Or
after
no?
he left, who became team manager? Me.
Oh, yeah.
I was Bill Russell. I was playing the game and
coaching.
It was hard though because
Really?
like Craig would give the dance hall guys like $7,000. Nah, that's a lot of money, but he would give them a lot of stuff, and I would kind of see those guys kind of use them, and I would see the skaters be like super respectful of the stuff. And then like one time we sponsored Dell, and Dell came in and got like 4 things, and like left. He didn't.
Dell who?
Dell the Funky Homo Sapien.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, what?
So we sponsored Dell for Creation and Satori, and Dell came in to get some gear, and he got like 4 things and then
Right.
left.
He was cool.
But sometimes the dance hall people come in and get like $4,000 worth of stuff, and you're like, dude, that's probably not good for the bottom line. You know, I felt bad.
You've already experienced all
I
this.
was gonna say I've been down that. Like, and that's the thing is like with like you know like I've been an asshole to people because of that, because like one of the things is like with Craig we did the whole tech deck thing, and Craig was on like I had to say to Craig, you know, hey, you got to give me my tech deck money, and he was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, you know, I met the people at the tech deck place, and they're called Spin Master. I met him at a toy fair in New York. Danced with the lady who was their accountant, and she gave me her number, and I was able to get my numbers from them. And it was like, yo, Craig, you know, hook it up, man. Like I saw that you like, you know, you got my tech deck, and he's like, it's not, I don't have it or whatever. I don't have the money or whatever. And I was like, I know my numbers, dude. Like I went and found them out. Like and you know, during this whole documentary thing and stuff, I called him one time and I was like, hey, Craig, man, you might want to figure out that $11,000 you owe me, because I'm gonna do these documentaries. I'm gonna tell people. And he's like, I don't think I did you wrong, man. I said, okay, just gonna let you know. But at the end of the day, he didn't do me wrong. He didn't, because you know what it was? He gave me an opportunity to skate again. So at the end of the day, whatever he did for himself, but I'm skating. My whole goal in life is to skate. I'm weird like that. I ain't got like, I mean, I like skating and I like music. So if I'm not rapping and making music, then I'm skating. Other than that, I don't know, man. I read a book. I love reading. I read a lot. I'm weird about reading. Like I'll read a book. I'll sit down and read a book tonight probably if I feel like it. But to me, why? And it's like people get mad at me because they go, you don't read the whole book. And I go, well, I start it, and then sometimes I read as much as I can, and then I put it down. And then when I look over and see it, and oh God, I got to get that book again. It's like that. I read like, you know, The Girl in the Dragon Tattoo. She had there was 3 different versions of hers. Me and Tony Mag were both reading that book and talking about that and stuff. And then we saw the movies. We watched the movie in Swedish, and it was sick. And then the American movie was weak. Like I say 2 movies that Tony Magus showed me 2 movies in Swedish that I went, holy, those are the sickest movies ever. And then in America, they came to America and they were weak.
Let me ask you a question. You 60 years old? 61 years old. You've been skateboarding since you were 11 years old.
50 years.
You've been in the industry damn near 50 plus years,
500
right?
years.
500 years. Yeah. I'm not trying to show your age at all, but
don't matter.
What do you, how, after seeing everything and experiencing everything from H-Street to Fun to Deluxe to all the stuff and skating and going on the 48 tour stop and whatever, and you see skateboarding now, like what is your thoughts on, because you skate every day.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Like you skate every day. You're out there still in the streets, at the skate park, wherever you are. What do you take of this, of the industry right now?
Well, first of all, I know that no one's going to listen to what I have to say, so that's the first thing I want to make sure that. Let's get that out. Let's get that out, because I understand that most people, they just think I run my mouth anyway. So at the end of the day, what I see in skateboarding, you're talking to a kid at 11 who picked up a board, then about 17 found out that black people thought that was only for white people. Mm-hmm. So you're talking to somebody who I'll put it this way, man, you better fucking love it or don't do it. You better fucking love it, because I love it.
Yeah.
It's like what I see nowadays, it is not a means to an end. It's not a means. It's not like, I'm going to ride this skateboard and I'm going to pick up a tennis racket and then I'm going to drive. No. Look at Bucky Lassick. Drives a fucking sports car as fast as you can and still does the craziest trick on Bert. It's like the idea is that we're such well-rounded human beings as skateboarders. We can do anything.
All day.
And what just the saddest part is that we have lost, skateboarding is always going to be there. But we the style and the idea of someone, I listened to the thing on P-Rod was saying about style. And I was like,
Yeah.
whoa,
Recently.
yeah. And I was like, first of all, that's the first time I've ever heard P-Rod be
animated,
and critical, because he's one of the most.
Been on here.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah,
born on the same day, by the way.
Oh yeah,
me and him born on the same day.
Amazing.
But what I think is rad, what he said, is exactly what it's like. The soul is lost. We gotta not forget. You don't do the tray flip, double, quadruple flip anymore, because I had Nodis. Okay, I did a trick one time and Nodis rolled it to me and goes, "Don't do that trick ever again. It was ugly." I was like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, just don't." I was like, "Thanks, Nodis. Appreciate you."
Yeah.
But that's a friend.
Hell
That's
yeah.
not. He's not dissing. He's like, "You look ugly doing that," and I'm like, "I look ugly doing that."
I think a lot of people nowadays get something like that twisted.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's like the homie trying to say, "Hey, dude, you got something in your teeth."
Yes.
Instead of just letting them sit there talking.
Yeah,
the whole
what's
time with-
You ain't saying
It's
nothing.
like, nah, bro. You gotta
up, bro?
have a homie and
Yes.
look out for the homie.
Yes, and Nodis, when he said that to me, I didn't get offended. I got more like, "Thanks, bro." It's like it wasn't offensive. It was a bro looking out for somebody. And in skateboarding, we've always looked out, and I see it less now.
Yeah.
And it's like when I told Dave, Daniel, who runs there, I said, you need to be on tour and you need to go out to all these cities and show people, LGBTQ people riding skateboards. So every LGBTQ kid out there that has a little bit weird and feels a little bit weird won't have to feel it because they see you. Your job as a my dad said it to me. He's like, "You guys are like the Harlem Globetrotters. You guys travel around the world introducing people to basketball. We introduce them to skateboarding." And so at the end of the day, who's doing that? And you know why our industry is hurting? Because people forgot that it's like teaching kids is not about teaching kids to be good. It's you're teaching a kid to have fun, and kids became customers. I taught skate camp for 15 years. Everyone's like, "Why did you teach skate camp?" I said, skateboarding needed customers. I said, "What are you talking about?" Every one of these kids, I taught 25 kids for 15 years a week for the summer. Every Friday after camp, where do you think those kids went? To the skate shop. And it's like when they went to the skate shop, they bought boards, they bought wheels. The skate shop loved it. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, who's doing that now? When I went to Woodward, I was like, "Damn, everybody here's hella good. Who's the beginners?" And they're like, "We don't have beginners here." I went, whoa, wait. So who teaches him? I point to Zion. Right. I go, "Who teaches him?" And they go, "Why do you want to know?" "Can they teach me?" He's pretty badass. If he learned from them, can he teach me? And they were like, "Ron, camp is not like that anymore. It's like people are good that come to camp." Well, I taught the Parks and Rec city versions of these camps, and I would have kids. I remember I had a kid. I called him your nickname, because I would be so bad with names. I just give him nicknames. "Your nickname today is First Day." And on First Day had a SpongeBob SquarePants board, dropped in, learn how to ollie, kick flipped, first day. But I go, comes to camp the second day, "Your nickname is Second Day." "What's up, Second Day?" Second day, learning, kick turns, axle stalls on a SpongeBob board, right? All the kids are like, "He's not that good, he has a SpongeBob board." I'm like, "Nah, run what you brung, kid." And they're like, "What?" I go, "You gotta run what you brung. That's what I learned. You run what you brung." And I remember afterwards, his mom was like, you call him 5 days? I go, that's just a nickname. It's just a nickname. I love the kid, so I got nicknames for him. Like, there was Towley, because he had a towel. He brought it like, no, his name was Towley, because he had a towel. And he would wipe his face. And I was like, your nickname's Towley. And he's like, okay. And his mom's like, Towley? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, sick. And now his nickname is Towley. And it's like, yo, like, one dude we went on tour with, his name was Andy Ralph Rogers. And I'm like, your name's Andy? And he's like, yeah. No, you look like a Ralph. He goes, what? I said, you look like a Ralph. He goes, my name's Andy. I said, no, you're Ralph. So all tour we called him Ralph. Now his name is Andy Ralph Rogers. But that was a rad tour, because I went on tour one time with Ben Schroeder. It was me, Ben Schroeder, a kid named Kip, a guy Chris Rubel from Michigan, and like these kids fucked with us. And they took some dog shit and put it under the passenger seat of the car. And the whole time we thought it was Chris's feet. So we're like, dude, you gotta throw your socks out, and you gotta tie your shoes out of the van, and you gotta wash those feet, bro. You're smelling, dude. And then so we go to Canada. We can't skate because it's raining. And we go to Canada, can't skate because it's raining, come back from the border. They see one of those snap pops in the ashtray, and they're like, pull it over. And they go, where you from? Ask me. And I said, Oakland, California. They're like, all right, get out of the van. And they're like, I'm like, get out of the van. And so we get out of the van. And then was like, why'd you say Oakland? I go, that's where I'm from. They're like, oh. So they start searching the van. And they find the dog shit. And so now they're like, these guys are international drug dealers. They put that to sabotage us. So we got one for you guys. They're like, what? So we look out and the car's on jacks. That's the first thing I knew. All tires are off. Everything in the van is out on the flat ground in front of the van. Every suitcase is opened with every sock and everything gone through. Okay. So we're like, we don't have any drugs, dude. So we're in this room, and like, one person goes in the room, comes out, but can't tell the person what happened. So I'm the fifth guy. I see these four guys go in the room, and they come out, and they're completely white. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Go in the room. It's like complete body cavity search. Like, oh my God. They stuck it deep, dog. I was like, oh, hey, whoa, I ain't got nothing in there. Like, and then we all got in the van, and everyone just was quiet. Like, I was like, and like, I swear, Ben was like, damn, dude, that was harsh. And I was like, yeah, it was. Like, we didn't even have anything. We didn't have nothing. We had nothing. No drugs, no nothing. And then when they gave us the van back, we opened the door and all the clothes fell out. So like you're wearing my shirt, dude. Give me my shirt back. And it's like, oh my God, it was a horror.
Wow. What team was this on?
It was like a Wind, Waves, and Wheels demo that like this kid Kip grabbed the van and we all jumped in.
So it was like a hodgepodge.
Like we went, well, it was like it was supposed to be me and Ben Schroeder on this road. And he was like a giant. Like he was like a real man giant. Like we would drink a 6-pack, two of us, and he would drink a 12-pack, one. Like he'd be like, he would drink a beer like this, and it'd be done, and he would crush it. And we're like, this dude is a giant. And we would like attack him in the hotel with pillows, and he would pick up the bed. Like he would like, so we're fighting with these little pillows, like pow, pow, and he's got the whole bed, and he's swinging the bed at you, and he's hitting you, and it's throwing you against the wall. Like here's a mattress coming at you from a big 6'7" dude. He's like whap, and you go flying across. So we got kicked out of that hotel for show because everything came off the walls.
Oh yeah.
Wait, so that border was Canada border?
Yeah.
That did that?
Sarnia. We went to go skate Sarnia because it's this little killer park in Canada right off of, if you go to Fort Huron, right past that is Sarnia, and it's a sick skate park in Canada. And of course, when we get there, it's raining.
Of course.
And then there's no weed, we didn't have anything. And then we come back and then we get strip searched.
I can't deny that. That has happened to me too. Not full cavity creep or gravity craze, but like, yeah, strip search is not fun.
Strip searching was like, I was like, wow, it's never happened to me before. I hope it never happens again.
Jeez.
I've had, but you know what? One time on an H-Street trip to Europe, I was like, it was back. Okay, this is how long ago it was. This is how long ago. It was about 88, 87, going to Europe, and I'm sitting in the front part of the plane, right behind like first class. And first class at that time could smoke, okay? The lady gives me a warm Heineken. I'm like, well, I'll drink it. Drink it, start kind of feeling sick a little bit. Then the people will start smoking. Now I'm really feeling sick. Then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I gotta throw up. I'm on a plane. oh shit. So I get up to go to the bathroom, and as I get up, it just goes, and then I get to the bathroom, I don't even have to throw up anymore. So then I'm like, where's the H-Street people sitting at? Because I'm sitting over here. And so I go to the H-Street people and I try to find a seat. Like, yo, Kobe, take my seat. So Kobe goes to where I'm sitting and he goes, dude, you got to go back to your seat. They're really mad at you. And I go, what happened? And he goes, the people are in towels. I was like, oh.
You threw up all over them.
I threw up all over them. And then I was sitting in my seat and they were like, stupid American. I felt so bad. I mean, they were in towels. They had a towel over their thing and a towel over their waist. They had been completely covered.
Ron Allen is projectile vomiting on the plane.
Oh my God, so horrible. So horrible. Like that was like, don't drink a warm beer on a plane.
Dude.
With cigarette smoke.
Yeah, and then once the cigarette smoke hit me, I was like, okay, I'm going to throw up.
This is taking me for a doozy here.
I do want to ask you one question because I did hear a funny story. You had the cover of Thrasher, right?
Yeah.
And you didn't know about photo incentive.
No.
And so you were like trying to, what was the story again? Like you were trying to get some money from something.
No, like,
and then
so
you were
like Bryce is like, come out. You got the cover. Come out.
This is the cover right here.
Yeah, like, come out, Ron. You got the cover. And I'm like, broke him. And he's like, broke him. I said, well, I'm broke pro.
He wanted you to come out to where?
To Thrasher, to get the mag, you know? And I'm like, I'm broke. And he goes, what do you mean you're broke? He goes, dude, check your contract. And I'm like, contracts? He goes, look at your contracts. It'll say photo incentives down like about the last, like third bottom paragraph. So I look and it says, if you have a trick on the cover of Thrasher, you win $5,000. I was like, what? What is that? Like, and then Gullwing contract, if you have a Gullwing on the front of the Thrasher, that's $1,000. Each sticker, OJ2 sticker was $250 plus the wheel with another $150 for all 4 wheels showing, plus each sticker was $250. I was just like, and then the H-Street was 5G, Limpies, wearing the Limpies was, I think, another 25G. And so I went from being
25?
2,500.
2,500.
What
Okay,
shoes are
okay.
you wearing there, by the way?
Converse.
Oh, those are
Converse.
Converse.
And
Okay,
so
okay.
I literally, and Converse, see, this is crazy. I'm on Converse, but it's the weirdest way to be on Converse because I got on Converse through my dad. See, my dad was a major big basketball player back in the 50s in New York City, like out of Harlem. And like his name hangs on a blanket, I think, in Harlem, in Madison Square Garden.
Your dad's name?
Herman Allen. And so he became like this amazing basketball player. So he used to get Converse from a guy named Barry Spears. So he says to me, call that guy Barry Spears at Converse and see if he'll send you some shoes. And I said, why, Dad? He goes, he used to give me shoes. I said, Dad, you were sponsored. You were sponsored by Converse. And he goes, I don't know what that is. I just gave me shoes. I was like, no, Dad. Like,
That's
like,
what it's called.
It's like sponsored. And he's like, they just gave me shoes. And then like I was like, whoa. And so Barry Spears sent me a box of shoes. My first Converse was just a bunch of boxes of different Converse. And then I said, you know, Mr. Spears, like I skateboard. And he goes, oh. And then this comes up, cover of the magazine. And it goes to Converse. And Converse is like, whoa, you're on the cover wearing our shoe. I said, yeah, you know, and got a little money for that. And then Converse, like, it's like I kind of got on Converse through my dad, and then I kept pushing it, and then next thing you know, I'm on it. Right. And when I was on it, it was like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, like Christian Hosoi, Rodney Mullen, me, and Denny Reardon, the freestyle kid from the East Coast. And that was just like, just being around Magic Johnson or being with my name on the same list as Magic Johnson. And Larry Bird's my favorite player. I love Larry Bird. I'm like the biggest Larry Bird fan. So I was just
He's
like,
East Coast, man.
I don't care, man. That man, he's a baller. Okay. Like seriously, Larry Bird, if he played in
He
today,
had everything. He was passer, shooter, everything.
If he played in today's NBA, he'd be a walking triple double right now. And like that just made me like, and I like Magic. Magic, a nice guy, happy guy, but just Larry was just Larry. They call him Larry Legend, and there's a reason. I mean, his rookie year in the championship game wiped off the chalkboard. Said, get me the ball, hit a 3, and they won by 1. Wow.
I stopped the chalk.
Wipe the chalk.
We don't need that.
Yeah, we
We don't need to play right now. I got
the
you.
eraser.
Yeah, like, oh my God.
Okay, so you're adding up going back to the cover, you're adding up all this shit. You're like, oh, that's $5,000, that's $250, that's this, that's sort of. how much did you? Have
It
to
came
make
out
up?
to like $23,500, like $23,500. It was insane for a cover of a magazine. All the different photo incentives.
But it took a little while to get all that.
yeah, it
money,
didn't all
right?
come as
Yeah,
one
yeah,
big.
yeah, yeah.
I wish it
For
would have
sure.
came as one big check
But
out to
you-
buy a house.
You went from that was amazing. You went from broke having that conversation
To,
to tallying it up, and then
making
getting
the
that
phone
money.
calls, and then the money started coming in.
Wow.
And I was like, I was so broke, man. I remember we used to go to this place. It was like a Mexican restaurant, and for $1.25, they'd give you beans and rice, and then if you added an extra $1, they'd throw in some chicken or some meat. So we were steady at that place. You know what I mean? I like for $3, you're eating dinner. You know what I mean?
Straight up.
And I remember after that came out, I was like, I'm getting a burrito.
I'm
You know
getting
what I
that
mean?
big dog.
I've been
shit.
eating that beef. I've been eating the insides. I want some of the whole beef. You know, like
Even the flour. On
Yeah.
By
it.
the way, that cover was 1989.
1989.
That was your first cover.
first cover. First.
How
no.
did that? I mean, not only like just the money aspect of it, but how did you even feel getting a cover of Thrasher back
well,
then?
and it's very controversial because I'm from Oakland, and it's the San Francisco issue.
oh, they think that.
Oh, and so they were like, "What's
Well,
that
who
nigga
else?
from?
Who else could have been on the cover?
What's
then?
that
If it was
nigga
a-
from Oakland doing on the San Francisco issue?" And it's like, because
Wow.
it's at the steepest, gnarliest thing on the whole damn planet.
Oh, I
and it's
see.
like I'm on there going to front side, board side, like Oakland represent.
Straight up.
So
Is that in
Oakland-
Oakland? Is that in
That's
Oakland?
in Oakland at
Okay.
Oakland Tech. At
So
Oakland Tech.
Oakland and San Francisco are two different things that we're talking about.
Yes. I mean, you know,
Right.
Golden State Warriors just moved over there. I don't know no more.
So wait, who was the chief editor at that time?
I want to say Kevin Thatcher, not even Jake.
So I mean, he knew what the verbiage was going to say on the cover, and he still chose that
Yes,
photo.
he still chose me.
It's all the
That's
bay.
amazing.
That's
What'd you say, Raj?
It's all the bay.
yeah. It's
No,
just
it's the
that
Bay
it's a
regardless.
bay.
But it's
But you know, San Francisco has a scene.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like one of the things that when I was filming my Krooked part, I was going over there every day, and I seriously hit up Mike York and was like, I'm having visions because I'm sitting on BART every day, going to meet Tanner at EMB. I'm all, this is you, dude. Like this is you. Like I'm doing you. Like 20 years ago. And he goes, dude, is it weird? I go, it's crazy when you get to the city, you feel like you kind of, like you got to do something. And he goes, that's what I felt like. He goes, like when you travel somewhere, and so every time I got to the city, I'd see Tanner and he'd be like, you ready? And I'm like, let's go, dude. And
Like you're missioning. You're going on a mission.
straight mission. And like one day Tanner literally railed off 8 tricks off of the Embarcadero stairs. And I was like,
Oh, he's good, dude.
he was and I was like, you're filming me? And he goes, yeah. I go, I should be filming you, bro. Like you're that good. And he goes, no, I'm really like I've never been with somebody who was so stoked to be with it, and then in the end did such a good job. So it's just like, wow, dude.
Dude, he has a clip in the new Baker video.
Yes.
He barely heel flips this big ass set.
Yes.
Reynolds
He's
is bottom
I'm
platform.
so like he's a good filmer.
You didn't even skate EMB though, right?
No,
You were
no.
not-
I kind of met people there. Was always in there, but then
It's like a meet up and go somewhere else.
yeah, or
spot.
meet up with Kelch, smoke a joint, hang out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but the one time I stopped going because some friends of mine came from Sweden, and I went there to see them, and they were sitting on the steps, and they had this look on their face, and I was like, "What's up, dogs? Hey!" And they're like, "That man over there took our money," and they pointed to Kelch, and so I rolled over to Kelch. I'm like, "Come on, Kelch, man, don't rob these kids." And he's like, "'Cause it's you, run. I got you." Good guy. So he goes and he gives them their money back. I said, "You got your money back?" They're like, "Yeah." But he took 100 out. And I said, "What?" I said, "He took 100 out of each one of you." And he's like, "Yeah, because, he said it costs to watch Mike and Henry."
Legendary.
Wow, dude.
It
Wow.
costs to watch
And
Mike
I'm the one who collects. Not even timid.
That is the first time I met Kelch, literally at EMB. He's like, "So you got the ollie on the stage?" And I said to him, "What, manual or nose manual?" And he went, "What?" And I said, "Manual or nose manual?" And he went, I think he thought that I was trying to like show up, but I was like, "Yeah, I'll ollie out to nose manual, I'll ollie out to manual." And he was like, I was just thinking about ollieing up it. And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's like easy." And he was like, "What's up with you, blood?" Like, I was like, "Oh, I'm from Oakland," and like we had met that night. And he was like, "So you can ollie manual up the stage?" And I was like, "I think." And then I did it, and he was like, "Fuck, nigga, you ollie." I was like, "So can you though?" Like we were both, because I remember when I like saw Nodis ollied. We were at a demo in Visalia, and there was a curb, a wall, and it dropped down 5 feet, and Nodis ollied from way early over all of it. And I just remember going, damn. Like, Nodis one time at Thrasher Thon in San Luis Obispo, we were all skating and he ollied. Like, there was a set of stairs, light, set of stairs, light, and then no light, and just a set of stairs. And so we ollied it together. One first person, second person, then somebody, all the second one, and then I got to the dark, and I stopped. Like, I don't know how far it is. And Nodis kept going and ollied it and made it. And then I walked down the stairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 stairs in the dark. 19 stairs in the dark. And he also ollied from the top down at Fort Miley. And that's a Thunder poster of him.
Was this after you smoked with Kelch?
19 stairs.
No, how was that? Yeah. He ollied,
bro.
Like he ollied the 19 stairs with the light, and then he ollied from the top of Fort Miley down to the bottom. And it's a Thunder 6-picture sequence poster.
So there was only photos of that and no footage.
I never saw any footage of it. I saw photos of him ollieing Fort Miley, and it's just like, dude, nobody does that. Even to this day, nobody does that.
Wait, isn't there guardrails there?
Well, it's like he came off like straight to the bottom, like just ollie straight off of it to the bottom, and it's like this Thunder ad, like a Thunder poster.
We have to archive that.
Yeah, Raj, I'm telling you, Thunder poster.
Got it.
Let's call Thebo.
You got it.
So this is it.
Yeah, there it is. Oh my God, Nodis is a beast, dude.
Wow, that's
beast.
Because he was never really known for like ollie off or off stuff
Ollie
like
up it,
that.
yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Can
That's
you believe
wild.
that, guys? I mean, I'm like, this dude ollies.
That's
like,
amazing.
he ollied up a picnic table, the first person I ever seen ollie up a picnic table, and was like, wow, like he didn't even boneless. Like, boneless was a bigger ollie at that time. And when he did it, it was like, because like Brandon Chapman ollied up 7 stairs at UCSB in front of the Campbell Hall building. That was like one of the tallest ollies I'd ever seen. Ollie up 7 stairs.
What year?
I want to say 85. Brandon Chapman was a homeless kid. Who like basically got on Santa Cruz, was pro for Santa Cruz, and then would hang out in Isla Vista and became was a pro skater, and was like, he came to our house one day and he goes, dude, I did something and I'm not sure if it's cool. And I'm like, what'd you do? And he goes, well, there's this 2-stair and there's like a railing, and I like board slid the railing. And he goes, it's like part of the bench, but not all of the bench. And we're like, what? And he goes, it's just that part of the bench that you grind. That's all the railing is. And so we went and he did it. And we were like, dude, you board slid. It was like 2 stairs, but it was so sick. You know what I mean? Like to see someone slide like you ollied from the top and you slid and you came down. And he goes, dude, it's so rad, dude. And we're like, dude. And he goes, I'm totally on acid right now. Is that fucking cool? I'm like, dude, it's cool. It's really cool. Like tomorrow we'll remind you it was cool. Like
do you ever just sit back and just think? I mean, we started this conversation about an hour, 2.5 hours ago with this little piece of wood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In 1974, that's what you said, right? 74, and look where we are now in skateboarding. You have seen this progression of what we do. Do you ever sit back and think, man, we've come so far, and where is this going?
Yeah, I do. I just, it's weird because I think sometimes we have to, like, as skaters, like, I see it as like learning, like everyone is so progressive. Like I came from I said the 90s were a progressive age. In the 90s, if you didn't land it,
was going so fast.
Yeah, and if you didn't,
92,
and if you didn't land your trick
boom,
clean,
boom, boom.
you looked over at your friends and they'd like look at you like, and you just knew I have to do it again.
Yeah.
Like I gotta go. I gotta do it again. Like there's a friend of mine. His name's BC. Last year on the BC 53 his birthday, we met up with this kid who was like he does kick flips for his cure or whatever. And so we're all kick flipping for him. And BC's like, I'm 53. I haven't done a kick flip in 10 years. And we're like, oh, dude. He goes, I got it though. He goes, you guys got to vibe me. I said, what? He goes, just like the 90s. He goes, when I go to try it, you guys got to look at me like I can't make it. And I go, dude, that's the 90s. And he goes, totally. And so we all looked at him like, and he made it.
He needs that. He needs
he goes, I need that energy.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
energy.
But it's just crazy. It's crazy where we're going. We don't know where we're going. I mean, you know, you started in the 70s. You didn't know what the 80s were going to hold. You didn't know what the 90s were going to hold. You didn't know what the 2000s were going to hold.
Well, and I never even thought I'd be. I never thought I'd be pro. I didn't know what pro was. Right. I didn't have a clue of what pro was. And now kids are so amazed at what they know what pro is. They have a really good idea of what pro is. So, and I think that's rad. But I don't know. I don't want to sound like I'm too old. I'm too old to talk bad because it makes you sound like a hater. And I'm too happy. It's like I love skateboarding, so everything that happens in it is part and parcel of what is good and what is bad. Like everything that happens in skateboarding is good, but some of it sometimes is bad.
Right.
But it's only how your opinion and how your view is of it, you know. And like sometimes it's like that. Like you get like people get like really mad at like the new kids, and I understand like they're so kind of weird. But when I was a new kid, I was pretty weird too. You know what I mean? Like I used to always think I was really good, and then I'd go to the park and everybody was better than me. Did you ever have that? Like I used to think I was rad, and then I get to the park and everybody at the park was better than me, and I would just humble down and just go do your shit. Just shut up and go over there and do your shit because you're not that good.
Early on or later in life?
Oh, this is early. Like I'm talking early. Like when I was like, my dad would take. So my dad would take me. He loved baseball, so he would go and he'd go to the Angels games, and then he would drop me off at Concrete Wave, which is right across the freeway from it. So when you see the two lights off, that means the game's over. I'm coming to get you.
Okay.
So I'm like, that's dope, you know. So I'm at Concrete Wave, feeling all independent. Like, yeah, my dad left me here. I'm by myself. I can go get my drink or no. And then, like, Public Domain happens. I'm with Tommy and Jim, and Stacy Peralta walks up and is like, Ron Allen. I'm like, Stacy Peralta, and he's like, Ron Allen. I'm Stacy Peralta, and he's like, used to babysit that ass. What? I said, babysat. Yeah. And he goes, your dad would go to the Angels game and go, here's $20. Keep an eye on the little black kid.
Yeah, right.
Here's $20. Keep a little eye on the black kid. And I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah. And I remember one time I was doing something. He goes, work on your front sides. What? And I was like, oh my God. Like I was being, I went to Concrete Wave and my dad would like give him money to keep an eye on me.
Wow.
Like, so that was, I want to say that's 80s, like early 80s, 80, maybe even like 79, 80.
You were?
I was a kid. Like I'm talking like
you thought
15,
you were
15,
the
14.
Shit.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm here, and it's like, no,
Your dad never told you.
never told me.
Damn.
Never told me. And it was like, Dad, like I would have gone to Stacy to get sponsored.
But how funny is that it was Stacy Peralta?
Yeah.
out of
Well, because he was
everybody.
this blonde guy at the skate park that sat in the lawn chair reading the magazine. And I would just start, whatever. Just look at him like,
What
whatever.
the hell was he doing there?
Lifeguard.
he was a pro at the park. He was the pro. Back then, skate parks had
Like the
pros.
golf pro.
Yes. Like you're at the pro at the park. Or the tennis club pro.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude. Like,
Damn, that's so crazy.
and like that was fun. And I always, at first I thought it was Russ Howell because Russ Howell was there too. And Russ Howell was like the 360 dude. Spin a 360 up a bank, spin it down again. So, and then when he said it, I was like, oh, I always thought it was Russ Howell, but it was Stacy. That's crazy.
That's crazy that they were like looking at skateboarding like other sports, and they would have like a
Pros.
skate coach there or somebody there.
just to make sure the kids need a little help. You could help them.
Right.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Wow.
And that's a job too. And you think about that, like that's a job. I could use that job right now. There's the old pro at the Spark. There he is. Ron's like, how you doing, kids?
So you skate every day.
Well, I do if I'm not hurt.
Okay.
Or like I have a thing where I go 3 days on, 2 days off. Sometimes 3 days on. It's like if I'm filming, 3 days on, 2 days off.
Okay. You're still filming.
Yeah.
What are we working on now? What are we doing?
I just, okay, so I did the 50-50 grind, shove it, late flip in my cricket part, and I didn't like it. So I came home and did a 50-50 shove it, late flip, clean. And so that was like, I was like, yeah.
What didn't you like about it?
Well, like, okay, Tanner was like, dude, it's perfect. And I'm like, no, it is not. Like, it's ugly.
We're our own worst critic.
Like, it's a grind up, and it's a grind up bar, and I shove it, and I land on the curb, and I mean, it's like, progressive toe drag or something. If it was the game of skate, they'd make me do it over again. So I went to a ledge, and I did a 50-50 shove it, late flip out on the ledge. And I was like, now.
That's the one.
That's it. Like, that's crazy.
Wait, which spot was it? We're looking for it right now.
Oh, it's
Is it before? I think it's early.
It's the last trick of that. Yeah, this. Look at that toe drag, baby. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Look at that toe drag, kid.
So you wanted
That's
to
a cool
clean
spot for that,
You
though,
wanted to
actually,
clean
yeah.
that up.
Yeah,
You wanted
yeah.
to clean that up.
Did you go back to that spot and do
No,
it?
I found another spot, but then I found another grind-on spot that goes into a bank, and I'm like, okay, here
By the
we
way,
go.
when was this part? What year? This was
That's-
recently?
Yeah, like I want to say August, like or September. Like,
I love this, bro.
Yeah.
dude, there was that. You
Look
know,
at you. Wait, look at you.
that was
So amazing.
hard to skate, knowing everybody has done everything there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
like
this is.
that was.
Come on, man.
Tanner was the great time. This was a really fun time because the whole time we're filming, Rob Pace is filming his Santa Cruz part. So the whole we're filming and we see him, and it's like, dude, it's ripping. And
That's
Tanner
great.
said the funny thing. He goes, "I have an hour of you celebrating." I go, dude, I said, we gonna celebrate.
Right,
like we gonna
right,
land
right.
some tricks and we are gonna celebrate.
As you should.
Is that Union Square?
Yeah, Union Square.
No way. I didn't realize that part was
Tanner
there.
had some secret little ditties, dude.
I love it, dude.
I didn't realize those ledges were there. That's sick.
That's my local park. That's the park that's 2 blocks from my house.
I love that. So you did this part when you got the guest board on
Yeah,
Krooked.
yeah.
Came out with the part. That's dope.
Fake
I
ass
love
back
that.
tee. Nope. Fake ass back tee to a
that
late
was
show.
No,
Nollie back tee.
that was
That's
the
old
90s.
school, yeah.
That was the 90s.
Okay, thanks,
Nollie
guys.
back
Nollie
tail.
back
I love the-
Yeah.
And that late show.
Look at how nice these guys are. Give them some props. No, it was crazy. Good time filming. Every day a new person would come out and film.
Right.
And like sometimes it was rad because Frank and Alyssa were there the whole time.
I love that.
But then like here comes it's like next thing you know it's Miles Silvas and I'm like he's coming. And then this oh my God, so many people came out. This one kid who skates for Frog, so good. I love falling like that. I love falling like that. I fall like that on purpose, man. Like, but no, it was just like everybody got stoked and like I said, Tanner is. I don't know, man. It's Tanner's filmer of the year. Let's make him filmer. They should do that for filmer of the year, skater of the year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of guys that film, and I'm sure that they're so good to be around, and they're wonderful to skate with, and the way they make you think you can do anything.
Definitely. Filmers
Well, we have
is
such
a
a-
big part of it.
Yeah, man, we have such a close bond and relationship with the filmers and photographers
Yes.
and the people. It's like we're all in it together.
Totally.
It's like they land the trick.
Yeah,
When you land the trick.
Yeah, one time I was at Woodward and I did a whole talk about that. How your filmer is so important to you. Like your filmer is somebody who like.
It's like a personal motivational speaker.
Oh my God, yes, and they pick you up when you're down. They actually listen to you like almost like a psychiatrist. That sometimes when you're dealing with the why can't I do this? I'm freaking out. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they have this weird part of them that like they can listen to you and go, oh yeah, dude. And you can't do it. You can't figure it out, but they can. And like Tanner's done that with me. A couple people I've filmed with have done that with me, where they're just like, "No, just do that, Ron. You'll be fine."
I love that.
You know, and it's like, and Tanner to me is an example of like, you know, the guy's a really good skater. So I'm like, dude, come ride for me, mate. He's so good. Like, but like that's skateboarding is the interface between us and media. Like we didn't have much media back then.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you look back at the 90s, one of your friends had a camera, maybe. You know what I mean? There were no phones. So it's like everything you had to remember. That's why I tell so many stories, because we had no way to pass on any type of thing that happened unless you told the story.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I come from that, you know, so it's like everything's a story, almost like it's like you kind of make it that way, you know? Like it's almost like you if you didn't, you would forget. Like okay, I was one time at Jimi Hendrix School in Garfield, up in Washington, with Matt Lynn, with Satori. Everyone got their tricks, and I was just skating around the school like, Jimmy went here, sick. And then there was like a 7-stair and then a 10-stair with a sidewalk, and then it kind of went, and then it went around. And I rolled through the 7-stair, and then I turned, and it was a bank, and then a flat, and then another bank. And I was skating on the flat, and I looked down, and I went, oh shit, I can ollie in. So I take a couple pushes, and as soon as I hit my tail, I realized, nope, there's a wall. And it's like about 4 feet from the bottom of the bank.
Oh, no.
And you're heading really fast into the wall. So I hit the wall. Goodbye. And then I'm like, okay, I'm done falling. No, you're not. Now you got to fall to the ground. So you ollie off. So you hit this, and then I'm, and then I'm laying on the thing. And they're like, why do you fall? We don't get the film. I'm like, I'm never in the slam section. I don't want to be in the slam section.
Jeez, yeah.
But I really that was the worst slam I'd ever taken. And I remember when we got in the band, everyone was like, dude, I didn't see it happen. Are you good? And I remember I just put like a t-shirt over my head. And I was sitting there for a second, and just like a little kid, I was like, I just need to cry. I'll be okay. And I just cried, and I was like, oh, I'm better. Whoa, like a little kid, because it scared me. Like I was like scared. I was sitting there like it was funny how like that is in skateboarding, how humbling it is. Like sometimes it like takes you down to like, I just gotta throw some tears and I'll be okay. A couple times with Tanner, I'm literally on BART after falling down all day, and I'm sitting on BART, and like one of the ladies, like a business lady, was like, are you okay? And I'm like, huh? I'm like, oh, I just fell down all day today. She's like, yeah, you're bleeding, you're dirty. I'm like, yeah, I love it. She's just like, what?
Imagine the story she's telling when she get home. Yeah. I saw this guy on the train.
It looked like his ass was beat. But no, it's
skateboarding.
Yeah, I like it. I still like it. I wish more people would. I wish like our industry was the way it was in the 80s. I wish people could make a living from it, I wish, but it's like, and maybe it'll come back, and maybe things will be cool, but it just seems like right now it's just really hard for everybody.
It is,
and when you say boards aren't selling and stuff, and I'm like, well, my board we sold 1,100 boards in 4 days with Krooked. Like, hello. I'm like, yeah, but, and then I just got this website. I started ronallen.info, and it's got my boards and art and music and stuff on it, and I didn't really ever think that. I was always like, I'm a shop guy. I wanted to have my boards in the shop, and and then it's like, I understand shops are this and that, and I have so much love for shops because shops were the ones that helped me. So
it's a huge part of it.
Yeah, I would love to see it all. Obviously, being an older person, it's hard to say that you want to see things come back because you sound too nostalgic at that point. But I would love to see the industry come back and have people love and make a good living from it. Because I can't sit here and lie and say I make a great living from skateboarding. I'm a hustler. So if I didn't have my hustle, I don't know where I'd be.
Right.
And skateboarding has made me a hustler. Which kind of sucks. It's almost as if like I don't want to be like, I'm not, and when I say hustler, like I think a lot of times people think hustlers are like drug dealers and stuff like that. I'm like, nah. You give me lemons, I'll make lemonade. You know what I mean? Like it's like you have to, I always tell kids this, man. Don't get stuck. Like find out what you got to do and do it. Because at the end of the day, it's on you. And like we can't blame anything. Like my mom used to say this. I made a song out of it. 0.1, 3 point back. So if you point at somebody, there's 3 points back at you.
Oh, okay.
So you can't blame nobody. Can't blame. There's nobody. Like a lot of people are like Mike Ternasky, and I was like, Mike Ternasky loved us and wanted us to do good. That's all. There was no like, I'm going to exploit these guys and I'm going to make a bunch of money. No. He was like, how do these guys are like, he came to skate camp the first year. He was a wrestler. And he would wrestle the guys that I came to skate camp with in Visalia was a guy named Al Gutierrez who went to my high school, and his brother Benji Gutierrez. They went to my high school. I would cheerlead for those guys when they went to wrestling. Mike was a wrestler down at San Luis Obispo. They all wrestled for Cal Poly. So when Mike came up to camp to visit those guys is when he met me and Jim and Nonis. So it was like, there's some weird, how did that happen? You know what I mean? Because the idea of someone that comes out like that, like Mike Ternasky just kind of showed up. And like everyone was like, who's this dude? And that's Al Gutierrez and Benji's wrestling friend.
And he wasn't even a skater at all.
He wasn't even a skater. He was just a wrestling guy.
Amazing.
And he was amazed at how skating was going. Like he was like at camp going, look at all these kids. Like we'd show a video and he goes, look at all these kids just watch these videos? And we're like, yeah. And he's like, it's crazy. He was freaking out because he had never seen anything like that. He had always, wrestling is kind of a solo kind of thing with your team, but you're still out there by yourself. So when he came to skate camp that first year, he really opened his eyes. And like he took me to see my mom. My mom had breast cancer, and he took me to the hospital to see my mom, and he met my mom, and like it was like my mom was like, she was like giving me shit through him, and I was just like, you two were like ganging up on me here. And it was crazy because he had that propensity to be good with everybody and their parents, their family, their friends, and that's what made Mike Ternasky. And then people try to say that, the money thing, or you're paying us for tricks. It was like, no, like when someone gives you love, you want to give them the best. You know what I mean? Like
So you can interpret it two different ways, but you could tell it, by the way you're describing it, he was coming from an authentic place.
yes,
And
very
it wasn't
authentic.
trying to like lure you and do you guys in.
It wasn't about money. It was more about you guys doing well. God,
Right.
this thing is being in this headphone. It's like I keep elbowing it out. I'm elbowing out the headphone. No, but we don't have those. There's not a lot of mics anymore.
No, he's very rare individual.
know,
From what I've heard, I mean, just how he impacted Rick and Mike alone, just them. You know, it was very, you know,
And then how that spurred onto you guys.
totally.
Like it was like he talked to them, and next thing you know, they're talking to you guys.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, but yeah, that's you get lucky. You really do. You get lucky in skateboarding, and I think I sit in a room full of a lot of very lucky guys. Like you guys are very lucky because you not just because of this show, but you love skateboarding. You can tell you skateboard still, and whether you skateboard all day or all week or not at all, the reality of it is you're a skater.
Yeah.
Like I watched your part. Like I'm like such the head, dude. I could tell you about like I've watched your girl Chocolate part. I'm like a big fan. That motherfucker over there, I'm even trying to talk to him right now. I'm big fans of all skaters. Like I look like it's just so crazy. I was filming the cricket part. Miles Silvas came and he was like sits next to me and he gets all quiet and he goes, "Do you remember me?" And I'm like, "Huh?" And he goes, "I was like 9 years old and I took your skate camp in Fair Oaks."
Wow.
And I went, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "You like, I had put my board backwards or something and you like took my board and fixed it and gave it back to me and didn't clown me." And I was like, "Yeah, I wouldn't clown you. You're a kid, you know?" But I was like, "You were at my camps?" He goes, "Yeah." And I go, and then when he said it, my head went, "Oh, Miles and his brother." I go, "You came with your brother?" He goes, "I did." I was like, "It was you and your brother." And then there's another girl, Minna Stess, and she was 9 when she came to camp. And she was like, she comes to camp. All the little boys are sitting down. She rolls in and flies out like 9 feet high. And all these little boys go, "Do we have to do what she did?" No, bro. She's just now she's the number 2 girl on the Olympic team, and her mom said she still says like, if it's not fun. And that's what I would always say, if it's not fun, don't do it.
Right.
And she's like, if it's not fun, I don't do it. I'm like, you listen to me? Like, you really actually listen to me? Like, holy crap. Like, when you teach camps, you don't think any of those kids listen to you.
Right.
You're like babysitting. I call it bona fide babysitting. You're like taking care of them. You don't think they're listening to them. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, they come to you and they say things and you're like, you, what? Like, you listened? Oh my God. Like, and that was a good time for me in skateboarding because I was just teaching kids. Yeah. Like I wasn't like, people came to me and like, "You want to ride for us?" And I was like, "No, I'm going to teach kids." And then like finally someone asked me and it was a good enough deal. And I was like, "Okay, I'll come back." But then it was like, yeah, like I was thinking that was when I came back from Osiris. I was like on Osiris for a minute and that was like, woo. I swear, like I picked some crazy sponsors.
You've had a lot of good ones too.
Oh, great ones.
You've had a lot
great
of good ones.
Great ones.
And a lot of companies of your own too. That you're proud of that actually made an impact in skateboarding. Life Skateboards.
Straight up.
Made an impact in skateboarding. That one video.
I hear a lot of people say
Definitely.
that from the guy. People
Wow.
growing up
me,
that age. I hear
definitely
that.
for
Yeah.
me.
Well, I mean, last night I was at my friend's house and he was like, "You are Ron Allen." And he goes, "And you don't even know it." And I go, I come from sports, you guys. I come from like sports. I come from playing basketball, baseball, football, and then skateboarding came. And so, those like humble. Keep yourself humble.
Yeah.
Keep working. Like, and I think that I'm a workaholic. I'm gonna slow down. I've had talks about slowing down. Like, I'm going to not skate every day. I'm gonna take some time off. But it's like,
do whatever feels right.
But
That's
yeah, like
what you gotta do.
like my producer for my documentary goes, "Ron, you go where you're loved." And I'm all, "Yeah, that's true." I go, I can't go, and he goes, "But you go because you're loved there, not because you want to try to change the way they are. They love you there, so you go there." I go, "Yeah, that's why." Like my friends in Chattanooga, the VW, like there's a group of guys in Chattanooga. They have a warehouse. They have a mini ramp in there. They've skated that mini ramp for 10 years. Every Thursday night, they get together, almost like it's like we're going to the ramp, man. It's almost like you're going to the football game, but you're going to the ramp. You know what I mean? And they got bands coming in and playing, and it's just like. Those guys are so nice. And I'm like, and they're like, "So it's like this in California, right, Ron?" And I went, "No." And they're like, "What? You don't have a place that you skate?" I go, "At my park, but no, you guys, they get dudes who haven't skated to come back out and skate. It's like those guys they're called the VW Clubhouse. And they just, it's like, damn, man. I was, when I was with them, I was like, man, I always wanted something like this when I was younger, like a whole group of dudes that kicked it, you know, like because Eris's house was like that, like, you know, and like, so it's like, it's weird how that is, but yeah, that's, and that's all over, you know what I mean? Like in Chicago, when I was just in Chicago or in Michigan, in Detroit, like everyone is like grouped together and going skating together. And it's like someone was saying to me yesterday, Californians, we tend to be a little bit more, they said, Group Texas in the Midwest are telling everybody where you're going to skate. Group Texas in the West Coast are telling who can't skate. And I go, what? And he goes, yeah, like everyone's meeting here except for. I'm like,
Leave him off the text.
I'm like,
Wasn't Johnny on there?
and I have like a group of dudes, like every Saturday we meet at Berkeley Park. They're called the Berkeley dudes. Like my head's like, we're all just old guys. So it's like there's teacher Jeff and they're all these guys and they're just like, we meet on Saturday and we skate super hard. And then right up from it is a place called Fieldwork. It's good food and beer. And we just kind of sit down, have a beer and talk about it. And it's like, I love those guys. I miss Saturdays. Like tomorrow is Saturday and I'm on the road and I'm not going to be there, but it's supposed to rain. And it's just like, yeah, like I miss my heads, you know, and it's weird because no one's planned it. It's never been planned. It's like you just go, show up,
right,
and then everyone's there, you know. And so I like that about skating now that more people do that, but it's weird. Like, and plus also too, we kind of got to be a little bit more like I noticed like we're really nice about tricks. Like people like like we're just like the ugliness of tricks. Like sometimes someone's got to say something to somebody about, hey man, that look ugly.
Right.
But no, we're so politically correct right now, we don't. And sometimes I think that's where the style comes. The style comes from you do it so much that your body just does it, not you're making yourself do it. You know, and like how I can say it with hip hop, when I write a lyric and then I try to rhyme it, it always sounds like it's written. It's always, when I freestyle a lyric and then I rhyme it, it always sounds like it comes off my head. See, saying, and that's what I think skateboarders got to stop writing their lyrics. It's like, just let things happen.
Right.
Like, don't go to spots and expect like I remember the ABD thing was really tough for me because when you're 61, everything is an ABD. Like, I swear, like you ain't got, like you go to a spot and you're like, everybody's been here. Yeah, I know, me too. So, like, Tashi Yamamoto said, it's not ABD, Ron. It's Ron hasn't been here yet.
Ron, yeah.
And I was like, damn. That's what I think is rad. Like people saying that kind of stuff. You're like, because that ABD was fucking me up when I first started filming because I don't want to go do somebody else's stuff. I mean, who does? I don't think people one up like that anymore. I mean, do they?
I try to one up like P-Rod. I try to one up like Reynolds. I try to do one.
I think people do it without knowing other people have done it. You know
like,
what I mean?
okay, like one time when I was at that rail, we went back to shoot it, and some kid came over, who will remain nameless, and said, "Man, why are you even driving that rail? I already did it." And then Dan said, He did it different. He's doing it different than you. I said, "Thanks, Dan."
Yeah, no, for sure.
Thanks, Dan.
But younger kids sometimes feel like they have to. That's how they prove themselves.
Well, and
that's the younger kids. Older. When you've done shit, you don't have to act like that.
When you come to San Francisco, you have to Gonzolly, Wallenberg Ollie. There's some things you got to do. I'll never forget that. When I showed up in San Francisco, like, you got the Gonzolly? What is it? Oh, it's this thing off this. Okay, you got the Wallenberg Ollie? What is it? It's this big set of stairs. And like, you'd go there and you'd go, and then I remember I got the St. Giannini Ollie. It's a triple set, 3 flat, 3 flat, 3. And I did that. And so when I landed that, I was like, you got the Giannini triple set. Because it was like, everyone had like, you got the Hubba hideout. Everyone had you got to do this. And I was like, do your own thing, man. Like, I went and did the triple set. Like, that was the funniest thing, too, because I was like there going, I can't even ollie this. And then, like, it's funny when you think you can't do it, and then later you do it. But when you get there, when you show up at the spot, you're like, what's going on here? Not me. And then all of a sudden, it's like an hour later, you're like, I did it.
We doing the triple set, though, right now?
I don't know. Falling is a funny thing. No, it's weird because sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'm like, let's go. I feel like falling. And then some days I'm like, ooh, I do not feel like falling today.
I love that you're still out there doing it and skating. And I mean, we just watched that slam that you took last year going down that rail. I mean, god damn, like, yeah, your teeth, your teeth took a
human beings
are
supposed to live their lives.
Yeah.
And like you listen, like when you guys now know of me at 60, right? So you know. So now when you think you're not gonna act like you didn't see that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you all as skateboarders now, when you get to like around 50 or like 55, you'll be like, well, Ron was 61. So I'll always be that person that makes you guys think, well,
it's possible.
I can still do it.
There's a level right there.
And you know what? My dad, who like he worked in law, like as an attorney, and he said, you know what, Ron, why you should skate as long as you skate? And I said, why, Dad? And he goes, because if there's ever a lawsuit of how long can this go, then whoever makes that lawsuit and says how long it can go, they'll be compensated for how long they lost their skateboard career. Like if something happened to someone and they lost the chance to have a skateboard career, how long can your skateboard career go? Well, Ron's 61, I'm 20, 41 years. See what I'm saying?
Go ahead and tally it up.
Yeah, and the idea is not for me, but it's more for others.
Yeah.
You know, and you guys should all know this. I skateboard for me, obviously, but I also skateboard for like my best friend, Scott Obradovich. He can't surf anymore. 7 knee surgeries. He can't skate anymore. He can't, too many knee surgeries and everything. That fool just showed me he got a Dogtown triplane he's out getting ready to cruise on. I'm like, dude, you getting aboard? And he goes, I'm surfing. It's going to roll around. Right. And so I skate for all the dudes that can't. Wow. And that, like, they can't. Their bodies have said no. And it's done. So I go out and I go, my body says, yeah. So let me go until my body says no. Mm-hmm. But for all those guys, because they hit me up like on Insta, and the stuff that they say is so nice that you go, I gotta go skate, dude. Like, dude, you know,
it's motivation for you.
Yes, yeah. And just like the motivation that I'm supposedly giving them, I believe that it's given back. It's giving it to me because I'm going, dude, thanks. Like.
Well, I think a lot of people watching this and listening to this will definitely have some motivation. Because I think at the end of the day, like we're just trying to skate as long as we can.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And as long as our bodies can hold up, and we just want to feel that feeling.
Yeah, and it's such a small feeling to land a trick and roll away and be happy. It's like, but others don't even know that.
Right.
So that's our secret.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's our secret. It's like, and I always think this, like my friend Fernandez, she's like, and nobody cares. You know what I mean? But that's the great thing too about skateboarding. Nobody has to care. You care. You care about what you do. You care about how you land, what you like, and then in the end, you live that way. That's how I live like a skateboarder. Which probably a lot of my exes are like, yeah, he does.
I mean, look at this dude, Tampa Pro, 59 years old, man.
That's so sick.
The Tampa guys, man, I love those. Shaper. But you know,
Manny on the thing. Okay.
I was lost right now. I'm in the middle of the course, lost. Right now, I'm like, board slide the rail, board slide the thing. Okay, now what are you going to do? You got nothing to do. Look at
people
the
were so
kid.
hyped on you. People were going nuts.
They just made the judges drink.
Oh! Dude,
wow.
When honestly, I made that trick, it was quiet. And I was so quiet. I'm looking at everybody screaming. I'm like, how come I can't hear you? How come I can't hear you? Dude, that was
so rad.
Dude, to be honest, those types of situations are like, that's what I love about skateboarding. Like, you don't know what can happen until it does.
Right.
Like, it's like that
Look
was
at this,
The
dude.
best feeling ever, bro.
Yeah.
Over the pyramid in the run. Bow.
Damn, that was sick,
You
dude.
did that great, bro.
Yeah, that's my only trick. You know, I got one. And so it's really good. See, I'm like, Tony Hawk. Oh my, because Tony Hawk hit me up. And that, to be honest, that's kind of when this all kind of started happening. Mm-hmm. Like after that, it's like things just kind of kept rolling. It's like, holy crap. Like Tony Hawk gives you love. And the next thing you know, you're like, you don't know.
It's funny because Tony Hawk got inspired by that.
Yeah,
you don't know. You don't think about Tony Hawk being inspired by. He's Tony Hawk.
Yeah,
you know
he does the inspiring.
Right.
Well, you've inspired a lot of people, man. And, you've been around the industry for a long time, and I want to thank you for everything you've done for skateboarding and all the skateboarders out there. You know what I mean?
I just think of it as being the greatest thing ever. I think there's a planet that skateboarders live on, that when we pass, we go to it. It's great. Mm-hmm. But I also think that, it's so fun. It's still fun.
Yeah.
Like if you see me stopping skating, it's because it's not fun anymore. And when I was watching that P-Rod thing talking about the different styles of skids and stuff, I was like, yeah, P-Rod, you're the only one that can speak that way in a way, because the way you switch, and how you switched from your regular foot, there was probably a lot of humbling in that period of time. You know, like, God, I can imagine. Like, so I just, when he said, I was like, I believed what he said and thought it was really poignant. Like, wow, man, like, we got to remember that style is where it comes from. And like, the style came from the surfing, the style came from like the fluidity, but also the style came from the love of it. And like, you know, when you see some of the guys that are ripping to have style, it's because they loved it, you know?
Well,
like,
if you're out there doing something, you want it to look good.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, you want to roll away and be like, damn.
Yeah. And you want no defensive trick.
Yeah.
Do it again. Do it again. And
Well,
you know, I missed out on a lot of that stuff because I was up north and I never came down for like the skate games and stuff. And then some people were saying that they were like, oh, the game of skate kind of got lost because people didn't do bonuses or beam plants. And I was like, no, we should have done Add-A-Trick and we should have kept that Add-A-Trick. We should have, the idea of Add-A-Trick would have, like, we went to the barracks for Add-A-Trick and they kind of weren't really feeling us on that. But it was like the idea of Add-A-Trick would, if we made Add-A-Trick a bigger game, then people would like have to learn more. And imagine games of like Dennis Busenitz and Luan Alabera. Oh my God, it's lasting 4 days and there's 75 tricks and you know what I mean? Or like,
Tired, yeah.
so it's like that kind of stuff. I hope that skateboarding keeps expanding. I do think the competitive side has to really be careful. The competitive side of skateboarding has to be careful because we teach our kids to be competitive, not to love it. It's hard to love something when you're competing at it, especially if you're not winning. So we need to bring, like, whatever happened to the kid that doesn't compete and just likes skateboarding? And like, what?
They're
like,
out there.
They're
Yeah.
definitely out there.
Sure.
They're
Yeah.
definitely out there.
But
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, though.
It's like we're really competitive based. And as
Right.
we become more towards like the American way, we're going to be more competitive based. But if you remember snowboarding, I had a guy who rode for me, Noah Selaznick. Noah Selaznick was known for doing that 540 off the cornice in the backcountry. But then he could also go win a contest.
Right.
And so that's, you know what I mean? That's
They're out there, though.
Yeah,
they are
yeah,
out there.
sure,
But I understand what you're saying. There are, we're seeing 2, 3, 4 different paths
Yes.
that kids are taking
Yes,
nowadays.
yes.
And a lot of the kids are taking that Olympic path, the contest path. That's all they do.
Well,
right?
and that's what we used to have to do to be pro.
Yeah.
You had to go to the contest. And if you remember when all the AMs at contests used to sit on the course and all together, and then you get up as an AM and you shake your friend's hands, and then if you did well, you came back, and if you did crappy, you found yourself off the way. But that was the camaraderie of contests.
Sure.
And those were cool. But what I mean is like, you know, I heard there's a ranking now of AMs up to 335 or 350. And I'm like, I want the 350th dude. I want him on my team. I want that dude. I want the dude that's ranked last. Why? Because he's got heart. He knows. I'm last. What are you worried about? Give me a board. Let's go. You know what I mean? Like, I remember one time in Tampa, I got last with me and Alyssa got last. And they cut the trophy in half. And we have
got 2 halves of the trophy.
That's pretty sick.
I love that.
I want the twins react. Losers. Oh, but it was rad. Like, see, that's how fun skateboarding used to be. Now it kind of doesn't have that anymore. It's not funny. It's like serious. You know what I mean? But some of it, Simon Woodstock putting trucks on a skimboard, tray flipping.
He was way ahead of his
He was
time.
funny.
definitely.
You know what I mean?
He was
Just
a true showman.
yeah,
sure.
funny. Like,
For sure.
but not serious funny. Like he's just having fun. You know? But like we take ourselves a lot serious now more than we did back then. You know what I mean? Like, because I remember one time on tour in Dayton, Ohio, we're in the hotel room, tour's like demo's over, and we're all up in a room, and Ray Simmons is like, "Let's make paper airplanes." And we're like, okay. And now Ray Simmons is a nuclear engineer, so we're making paper airplanes and throwing them out the window, and they're flying down to the ground, throwing out the window, and he's working. He's doing his thing. He's working. I'm like, come on, Ray. He's like, I'm working. Then he takes his plane, checks the wind, throws it out the window, and that plane just goes straight and just goes out the window, catches the draft, goes over. And we're looking at him, and I go, dude, that was the most successful paper plane I ever seen in my life, dude. He goes, yeah, you guys are making the shittiest ones, man. Like, look at the ground down there. It's just like hundreds of, and he goes, you guys, you just got to take your time and make a little weight on the front. And he showed us. And then once he showed us, then everyone was like, oh my God. And we're like, we must have thrown 400, 500. And we went out the next day and we're finding paper airplanes.
You've had the life, man. You've had the life. And
I
we're
don't
still
know.
going. We're still doing it. You're still out there,
Still
man.
trying to make my next record.
And that's another thing too, is the music and everything. But listen, You have hundreds of stories. You got to come back. You got to come back on the show. You got to tell more stories.
Like York did.
Yeah. No, once you're on the show, you can come back anytime.
Oh,
that door's always open. Yeah. Come on.
No, like I said, we didn't have video stuff, so a lot of stories came from just that kind of stuff.
Well, that's what we're here for. You know what I mean? I enjoyed every minute of this.
Wow. I'm glad you guys liked it.
Oh yeah.
This was a great ride, bro.
I finally made it. Like,
finally.
But I mean, it's been like it's like for me, skateboarding. Turning pro in '87 and being around an industry this long, and then having an opportunity to speak on you guys' show is it's pretty awesome because the one thing that we didn't have back there is stuff like this, and so for all the bad stuff that we talk about not having back then, we didn't have phones. This would have been great for the 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's kind of like what I look at with a lot of hip hop artists, like a lot of hip hop artists, they don't realize what skateboarding did for them. Like Hieroglyphics doesn't realize what skateboarding did for them. I think they don't. I think there's a lot of artists. I remember Grouch saying to me a long ass time ago, hey man, they should put our names on the back. They should put our names on the. If they use our music, they should put our names on the credits or something. And I remember going,
they do.
Yeah. But this was back in the day when nobody would. They would just use it.
Right.
So then I was like, whoa. And then he said it to me, and I kind of said it to somebody else, and now everybody does. And so I was like, wow, I wonder how many artists now understand what they could do with skateboarding as an artist.
I think it's the artists understand, but it's the labels that don't understand. That's a big problem. It's the labels. The labels have that hold on.
Yeah,
it,
the gatekeeping aspect.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, because I've played Tampa Pro as an artist 4 or 5 times, and every time I play, everybody there is tripped out over the fact that I rhyme. They have no clue that I rhyme. They're like, I didn't know that you rhyme. And it's like, oh yeah, I rhyme. And then you're out there on the stage and they're like, you really do rhyme. It's like, yeah, I'm not just up here talking bat, cat, and flat. You know what I mean? But it's like that where music is another part of to me skateboarding. Yeah. And it's I've met a lot of I got to play with a guy Jason Moran, and I've been playing with a lot of different jazz artists and different hip hop artists, and it's it's so much like skateboarding. You have the you're worried about who they are and they're amazing, and then you're getting up on stage and you want to be doing, and it just reminds me of you get on a company, you go to your first contest, you want to do good, you don't want them to think that you suck, then you don't do good, but then you hope that they keep you on. And it's for me I've been playing with all these artists, and they're like, Ron, you're good. Don't worry, you're gonna be fine. Just keep doing your shit.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where I'm at in skateboarding. I'm gonna be fine. I'm just gonna keep doing my shit.
You go.
That's
all we could. That's all we could all do.
Yeah,
for sure.
And really, it's a freedom. It's what we have a freedom that I don't think you realize it. As I've gotten older, I'm starting to really realize it. Wow, skateboarding was a freedom. You could leave your house and go anywhere, and before you had a car. But I mean, also the freedom of expression. And nowadays, a lot of people aren't really expressive like that. Our world is quelled to a way that physically we are not that. There's a lot of people wearing yoga pants and they ain't doing yoga. You know what I mean? Wearing running shoes and they ain't ran a day in their life. So when you see someone exercising and doing stuff, you're there's a certain part of us that is really still based on exercising, physical. And that's what I like, because I'm at my age. I know that this is we're in the midnight hour. You know what I mean? Maybe. They call it the midnight hours. If you're body's a clock, you're between the hours of 11:30 and 12. That's that midnight hour. I don't want to be there. So I'm hoping I'm around 10:30 right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got it, bro. Come on. Come on, dude. But like I said, man, you got to come back, tell more stories, come hang out with us again, dude. Because this is amazing. I love all this stuff.
I'm glad you guys had a good time.
Dude, for sure. Well, can we give you some nightclub stuff to take home with you?
Hell yes.
Yeah, Kelly, we do the honors, bro.
What size?
Large.
Large and in charge.
Large and in charge.
Yeah, dude.
But seriously, thank you guys for
bro, this has been incredible, man.
Oh, man.
I hope I didn't talk your ears off.
No. I mean, this is
wonderful, bro.
Dude, the stories, bro. The H-Street to the Life. Like I said before, man, Life. H-Street was a little bit before my time. I came in right at blind video days and stuff like that. So Life was just right on that cusp. I had to go back and watch Life, but man. It's such a good video, bro. Such a good video. And I know a lot of people think that too. That was it was good.
That's
They should be proud, bro.
Daniel Stewart. Oh.
Oh, did he filmed all that stuff?
Well, he filmed a lot of it.
Yeah.
He filmed a lot of it.
Those first 2 H-Street videos, too, hands down for me, were very impactful.
Shackle Me Not.
Shackle Me Not, Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
First of all.
Oh.
Dude.
So good, dude.
Yes.
Sitting next to, and I spit when I talk, so I feel bad because I probably spit.
Oh,
on
you're
you.
good.
That's why I'm over here.
Bro.
So
First of all, keep hydrated out there when you go skate.
Oh,
at the
sick.
skate parks. We got the Yeti,
Oh,
9
damn.
Club,
Damn,
Thermos.
son.
Yeah, we
Guys are coming up.
Only the best over here. We got the 9 Club tee
Oh,
for you. You know what I'm
damn.
saying? We got the little back print right there.
I
you
like
know?
that. You guys got
Yeah.
it. I like the color.
There you go.
Yeah.
Orange, great color.
It's good color.
And
Burger King's
drink,
favorite.
drinking that coffee or the tea in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you put the
Get that
college
9 Club.
NC like North Carolina?
Yeah.
Oh.
And keep the feet dry. You know what I'm saying? With the stance socks.
We
Okay.
gotta keep those feet dry.
Keep them little puppies dry, man.
A lady was telling me, you got to put lotion on them feet. I was like, lotion on your feet? She goes, Ron, you never put lotion on your feet. I go, no. She goes, you should. I don't. I didn't know. Like a friend of mine, this white friend of mine said, I'm ashy. And I was like, you're white. How could you be ashy? He goes, you can't see it on me? I was like, no. I go, you could see it on me if I got ashy. He goes, and his name's Matt. He goes, I need some lotion, Ron. I'm kind of ashy. How can you be ashy? You white. He's like, you could see it. I'm like, okay.
I think white people get some flakes here and there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we can
Little
get
bit.
some flakes here and there. Yeah,
Not as much as
Body
as
dandruff.
us.
Black folks be like,
Yeah.
we'd be like, wow, I got to.
Yeah, so we gotta fix this.
No, like, you're like, why am I so dry?
Ron Allen, dude, thank you so much for coming
Yeah.
by. The
I-
door's always open.
I hope I did as well as you guys. I don't even know. What is this about? What's going on? At the end of the day, you do the show, you go home, you're like, all right, watch it on TV, and then people call you and like, I can see people going, you told a story about me I'm not stoked about.
Oh, no,
You're
no,
like, you
no,
told-
no.
No, you
You're
need-
good. You're good.
you need to
You're
go down
good.
that path.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad because I'm like, like with this documentary they're making on me. Oh, and it's really funny. We didn't even talk about being the first African American, which is crazy because I just found out like I'm the first African American to turn pro at Street through Thrasher. I didn't know that,
Sick.
and so I'm like, wait.
Get closer to the mic.
Okay, so I didn't know that I was the first African American to turn pro at Street until Thrasher put out this magazine, and they said Ron Allen, first African American to turn pro at Street.
Oh, where they're breaking down like all the first of
Yeah,
to do
and I was
things.
kind of like, wait, I'm the first? And then I started thinking, I was like, well, what about like Eric Tuma? Or what about Britain? Like Tuma Britain or like,
Britain.
you know, and they were like, no, Ron. They go, Steve Stedham, first black vert skater. Ron Allen, first black street skater.
Oh, okay.
And I went, oh, wow. Didn't know that.
That's so
and so to be now, it's weird. To me, like, I was first. And like my parents used to make a joke. They'd be like, you're the only nigga we see. So, you know what I mean? It's just weird to be like, it's like, you're the first guy to turn pro at Street. And like, you, it's just weird because you didn't think about it like that. You
Nah,
never,
not until you
you
said
didn't,
it,
you
but-
didn't get into it to become the first. You didn't like have a plan. Like, I'm going to be the first. No, you were like, okay, this is the time. But that's something that I went to Tony Mag and I was like, hey, I'm first. And he goes, yeah. I go, dude, let's make a Jackie Robinson, Ron Allen kind of thing. And he's like, nah. And I was like, why? And he's like, we make skateboards, Ron. We're not. And I'm like, yeah, but you have somebody on your team that has actually done something, like for the culture. And he's, and I'm like, wow, it's kind of a weird thing in America now because when you claim something in America, like I'm first, people just go like this. Let me see if you're first.
Look it up. Yeah.
So to me, I never would ever have said that to anybody because I was like, I ain't first. There's got to be someone else. Whenever you think you're first, there's always someone else. You know. And so then when it came down and I saw that in Thrasher, it was like, I'm really proud of myself.
You should,
because that really made me go, whoa, like, so the adversity is what makes you better. And there was a lot of adversity. You know what I mean? There's in skateboarding, the adversity of trying to run a company, make things happen. You're running up against a lot of like people that maybe aren't so down for you and things. And then to know that you fought through all that and still have this wonderful love of it, it's like, damn, dude, like, I don't know, it's weird. And then I just went down and talked to a bunch of kids in San Diego. Like I'm talking to kids, and it's weird how like they all want to be famous, but they don't know why. And then when you tell them that everything's contractual, and they go, what? And then you say, that's why you want to really pick and choose what you want to do, because everything's contractual. And like they're like, oh, like fame is contractual. Like you get a contract for fame. It used to be you could just be famous. How? You did something crazy or you did something cool. Now fame is a contract, and so we got to be careful.
Yeah,
because that people will do things for fame. You know, you know what I mean? Like,
we're moving into a different realm here.
But that's when I see skateboarding. We have to be careful because that's where I think skateboarders. You know, the guy who's never, like some kid said to us, you know, I'm going to come back and I'm going to do the 17 stair railing. And we're like, oh, okay. And I go, so you've been there a lot? And he's like, no. And we're like, wait, so you're going to go there? Like, just throw it all into the wind and just go? Like, dude, I go progress. Go 10 stair, 12 stair, 50 stair, 17. Don't just go there. Like, I would hate that. Well, Ron, we're taking to the 30 stair. Let's go. You know, but... I saw that with a kid who was like, yeah, I got to go to the 17th stair and just break. And I'm like, progress,
well,
man.
they see the standards and stuff like that nowadays.
Yeah.
But, dude,
as a bit,
let's you said it all, Rob.
Yeah. Thank you, dude.
Yeah.
Set it up.
Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
I'm going to stick around and have another beer.